Faces for radio and minds for the asylum. We are your sanity vigilantes, the Culture Council. What's up, fellas?
Hey,
we did.
Sanity vigilantes. That's what we are. Yeah, I just came up with that. So hope everybody's doing good. Good to see you guys.
Yeah,
I look forward to it
good.
every week. Everybody doing good?
Yeah, same as always.
All right. Well, this week, let me show you guys something. We are having a guest this week, and our guest has hit something of a milestone. And I'm jelly. All right. Let me add this to the stage. So, this is the channel Gobster Talks About Things. And my man Gobby just hit 1,000 subs. So, look, says he got 1.01. Heck yeah. So, Gobster, this is his channel. You need to go over, check him out. He's really good. He's based, a cool dude. And he's going to tell you his opinion, whether you like it or not. So, having said that, let's bring the man himself out, Mr. Gobster.
Good evening.
What's up, dude?
Nice to meet you all, and thanks for that. Oh, thank you. No, thank you. Thank you.
Well, we're glad to get you on. We were talking this week about, or this week or last week, or whenever, about who was going to be on, and Tuna said, I think I might be able to get Gobster. I was like, yeah, do it. So we're glad to have you, man. I had already seen some of your videos, and I think I followed you on Twitter already.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, it's an honor and a privilege to be here, gentlemen. Honor and a privilege.
Well, we certainly appreciate you coming and hanging out with the lowlies. Just to kind of get to know you. How long have you been doing the YouTube thing, Gobster?
Well, on this particular channel, I'm just coming up to 3 years. I did a channel before, which evolved, which was for another. That went for 4 years before that. So I've been doing about 7 years, but the previous channel didn't do very well. It just sort of never went anywhere. And then COVID hit, and then I got involved in chat about Doctor Who, because why not? Something to do while we're all locked in our houses.
That's right. He's a Doctor Who fan too. Sweet.
Yes.
All right.
Well, Doctor Who from Capaldi backwards. Let's just get that sorted out.
True.
Yeah,
that is Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Everything afterwards is not Doctor Who.
Exactly.
Fan
I'm talking
fiction.
Doctor Who. I'm not talking this stuff that's happening now, but yeah. And I started talking about that, and the channel was originally called Gamer 50. I started off as a gaming channel. I was crap at games, so that didn't work. So I'm awful. I've got the reaction. I've got the reaction speeds of a dead snail. To be fair, when it comes to shooting, I gave that up, and then I became Dr. 50 because I was talking about Doctor Who basically, and then one of the things that I did once this come through is I was doing a video where one of the women in the group we knew had been bullied off the internet. So I did a thing which just said, look, everybody sending clips with the lady's name's Melina. I stand with Melina as to show that she wasn't on her own, but that people cared. That video went up, and basically she loved it. It was great for her. Everybody loved it, except several people said I was doing it for clout. So I said, that's fine. I'll leave it up for 2 weeks, and at the end of 2 weeks, I'll delete my channel just to prove that it wasn't for likes. And that's exactly what I did. And then about a month later, Gobster was reborn, and it's been going ever since. So,
wow.
Yep.
How long have you been doing that particular channel?
This Gobster channel's been going. March the 11th this year is 3 years.
Oh, cool. Yeah,
I was
watching. Go ahead, Joe.
Did the name Gobster, does that come from Gobstopper, or how did you come up with that name?
Right. It's basically one of the chats we were doing once. I was talking about something on one of the chat shows. I was involved with Doctor Who, and I was talking, and somebody said, "Well, tell that gobby guy." Now, in English, gobby means you're somebody who just speaks their own mind. And somebody said, "Tell that gobby guy to shut up." Now, I'm the sort of person that will take an insult to the ultimate level. So on that particular stream, I changed my name to Gobby Guy. Just own it, basically.
Yeah, just own it.
And I owned it. And the problem is it stuck. So I thought, well, keep it as it is. And then it came from Gobby. And then I was talking to Sophia Miles, and she used to call me Gobster. So there you go. That's how the name Gobster came, and that's how it stuck. And
wow.
I was driving I'm glad Joe asked that, because I had forgotten, and I was driving in the damn car earlier going, I wonder maybe Goblin, like Green Goblin or something, you know.
I know. In English, being gobby means you like to run your mouth off.
Gotcha.
I like to run my mouth off. So, and it seemed fitting. So,
YouTube's
go
the
for
right
it.
place for that and X, you know.
Oh, God, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Popping off about, doesn't it?
Shout
Yeah.
out to the chat, man. Everybody feel free to say hello and speak to us in the chat. We appreciate y'all coming
Yeah,
and
welcome.
and watching us this week. Drink to them. All right.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
guys, I got something for us to look at first, and this one was a late edition. I wasn't planning on doing this, but it made me I don't know. I just feel like enough of it had come out that people were talking about it. So we're gonna look at the original first and see how familiar you gents are, if at all, with this movie. Who's seen the original from 30 years ago?
One of the greatest films ever made. I really love The Crow.
Me too.
Awesome film.
Tuna, Joe?
I saw it a very, very long time ago. I mean, yeah, I thought it was good. Yeah, definitely.
So go ahead, Joe.
I haven't seen it, but is this the one where the main actor died during the filming and they had to replace him?
So I can remember waking up one morning for school and my what's up, Time Prophet, Craftsman, and OG. Thanks for coming by, guys. We appreciate you very much. I remember waking up for school one morning and my dad saying Brandon Lee got killed, and it was on the news or something. And my dad was a big like kung fu movie and stuff, so he liked Bruce Lee and he liked anything Brandon Lee did because of it. And I remember him telling me that. And then I didn't know at the time till a little bit later it was a comic book character. And so when it came out in '94, I begged. My parents had split up. It was my stepdad, my mom, and like his two daughters. And I'm like, I want to go see this movie, not realizing that, you know, there's portrayals of all kinds of crazy violence that some of them in there had not ever even seen before. What's up, Tomboy? What?
Yeah. It's a shame. It was we had a disagreement. That's the best way to.
All right.
Yeah.
That's all right. Tuna watches that. Yeah. That's what I'm saying, man. You're welcome here. Everybody's welcome here. We're all good. So then I got to see it, and I think the two future stepsisters were traumatized, but it was a good freaking movie. And if you ever get a chance, hey, what's up, Golden Age Geek, man? If you ever get a chance, there's some good documentaries on this and like how it happened. The way it happened is like basically a piece of shrapnel got stuck in one of the guns. And so when the blank went off, it basically treated the shrapnel like any other bullet. And
was it Alec Baldwin who pulled the trigger?
Not this time. No, it was, I think his name, Michael. The guy died actually recently, and that messed him up forever, dude. So anyway, the Crow himself it was a comic book created by J.O. Barr, and it's a very, like, I don't know, it's very iconic imagery, I suppose you would say.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you know, oh God, I should have got a better picture. But anyway, when I say iconic, that's not what this is, okay? So, having said all that, that was to get us here. This is what got me on the subject, thinking about the movie. There's a new article, I believe it's from yesterday. Oh, yeah, happy leap day, guys. Apparently, it's February 29th. I didn't realize. Yep. I thought I just made a mistake somewhere.
Nope.
But so this day never really happened. First look, Vanity Fair says The Crow flies again with Bill Skarsgård and FKA Twigs. I'm going to assume that means formerly known as or some stupid shit. More than 30 years after tragedy struck the Brandon Lee version, director Rupert Sanders launches a new incarnation. And this is my man here. What in the hell? Now, everybody knows Bill Skarsgård. He's been in a lot of stuff, but he played Pennywise, right? In those movies and it. So this is, I guess, him before, and I'm assuming this is going to be. I don't know if he's Eric Draven or not. I don't know if he's the same character because even in the comics, I believe, as in the movies, more than one person can become the Crow. Let's see. He's heavily tatted. Bill Skarsgård is probably best known in this country as the guy beneath Pennywise's creepy clown grease paint in the recent It Chillers. But that will likely change. Yeah, exactly. But that will likely change when audiences get their first look at the Swedish actor and director Rupert Sanders' new big screen. Okay. I don't want to see that. I just want to see the pictures. A lot of people tattoo their face. Here, this is what I wanted to get to show you guys.
Okay.
This is the Crow, bro.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. No, Gobster, not just because you're my guest. I agree with you. I mean, what is this? Give me your thoughts, Gobby. What are you thinking?
Why? There are some films that do not need to be touched, and The Crow should have left the way it was as a last legacy to Brandon Lee. To be fair,
exactly. And,
it's one of
and
those
it's,
things. Yeah, it's a thing that should never have been touched, and this is just going to be another woke load of junk.
yep.
Really,
was
to be fair,
trying to think of another movie. Okay, like Gremlins, or like Back to the Future. There's like certain
Exactly.
things I don't think you should
don't
remake
touch.
because
Oh,
they
don't
stand
touch
on
Back
their
to the
own.
Future.
Nor do you
Exactly. Well, and they
should
will.
touch Back to the
Wasn't there
Future.
rumblings of a Back to the Future?
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
on someone's radar, isn't it? Same as Gremlins. I don't know if they did an animated series first, but they're looking at this stuff because they're running out of material to fuck over. So
Exactly. Exactly.
is
So
true.
go ahead.
No, it's true. It's true. They're lazy. That's the problem with Hollywood at the moment. It's
we've
can't-
got the X-Files on the radar for Disney as well, haven't we?
oh
X-Files
god,
reboot. So
Jesus, no. Please,
just to
leave
brighten your day, gentlemen. Sorry.
some- Thanks for that.
So,
Just, no.
so like just more garbage getting cranked out because they ran out of new ideas. I just don't get it. It just doesn't make any sense. Let's see. What did the guy say? Oh, hey, Woody. It would be fine if they avoid the Eric Draven story, and I think that's the story they're doing. And in the article, it says something about he's trying to balance out because it's fairly early on in the '94 movie when they get killed and he comes back. But this is sounding more like a half and half the way they're describing it.
Yeah.
And no, it can't be. So let's see. And then what's Time Prophet say? Can't wait.
Yeah.
Can't wait for the Back of the Future remake. There can never be enough black, lesbian, non-binary time travel. I know.
lame
They
and
are
gay, baby.
underrepresented.
Lame
We don't
and
always
gay.
agree on everything, but I think we can all agree on how underrepresented they are.
So Outer God said and supposedly Back to the Future can't be remade. They're willing to remake the original trilogy of Star Wars. I bet you. I don't think there's anything that they're not willing to touch and destroy. So I would.
Money talks, yeah.
Is it a rights issue, OG? Could that be what he means?
Maybe.
I think the director did say something about how he wouldn't ever let the series be remade. But I mean, once he dies or money talks. So I don't know. One of the two has to happen.
Exactly. Yeah, somebody might have to pass away first, but
yeah.
I hope not, man. Some things just shouldn't be touched.
We'll see, OG. We'll see.
There's no telling what they'll do. Thanks again to everybody who's in the chat. Be sure you click the like button and subscribe. We are also on X today too. I forgot about that. I guess it's going fine. I haven't checked on it. And if you get a chance, I guess it's going good. Nobody said anything.
Nobody on X yet, but we will. I feel it.
All right. Let's see. Okay, guys. Here's a little quick funny thing to cleanse the palate. After.
Come on, Time Prophet. Why did you have to spoil it?
Yeah, he has to do it.
Oh, never remake Only Fools and Horses, dear Lord. They will as well, won't they?
Yeah, of course.
Oh God, they would remake anything, man. All right, here's just a quick 19-second clip for a laugh.
This is what training me. Come on, bro. I'm ready. Let's go right now. You know how to fight? You know how to fight? Let's go right now. I'm ready, bro. Let's go. You don't know what the fuck you're dealing with, bro. You don't know what you're dealing with. This is what
Lobster in Birmingham. That's what it's like every Friday night.
go right now. You know how to fight?
Yeah, so Bruce Lee here. I thought y'all get a kick
Must
out
be
of
an
that.
Everton supporter.
Something.
So his football team or something lost that day. I don't know, but I'm sure it's probably like a mental thing. But I used to work. I guess it's probably like this in a lot of places, at least to Americans. But in a lot of our Walmarts, we have like a bank inside. It's a separate business, but they just partner with Walmart to use their space. And so I used to have a front row seat to Walmart. And it was just like watching a show all the time, man. I mean, you know what I'm saying? And hell, I shop there. My wife shops there, so no insult to anybody. But you saw fights, you saw cops, you saw underdressed people, naked people run through. I mean, just crazy stuff. And I'm in North Carolina. You know what I'm saying? Got punched in the mouth. So I mean, like all kinds of crazy stuff happened. And look at who filmed my 6-year-old nephew throwing a tantrum. Exactly. So yeah, it's like there's a lot more of that in public now, man. A lot more people tripping out in public. All right.
Oh, it's mental.
So our next story. Did anybody hear about what happened to Chrissy Mayer with the mace? Or are you guys familiar with her?
Absolutely mental.
Absolutely
fucking
disgusting.
mental.
Disgusting.
It is. I couldn't believe it. So here's what she posted. After my comedy show tonight, during the meet and greet, some cowardly bundle of sticks, I'm assuming, pepper sprayed me in the area, sending many of us into coughing fits, teary eyes, and running for the doors for fresh air. It seems everyone is okay. We're still trying to figure out who did it and why. Just a really fucked up thing to do in a crowd, which happens to include a very pregnant woman. The worst part about being pepper sprayed after my show is that they waited like an absolute puss and pepper sprayed me after the show. Yeah, because they probably would have got jumped.
That is terrible.
Disgusting behavior.
But yeah,
Absolutely.
so it
It
seems
just shows
to
it's all they
be.
can do. They know their words have got no effect, so all they can do is these cowardly, shitty attacks.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
And so it got me to thinking, like, there's been a crazy string of this stuff, right? And so I wanted to show you guys a couple of times that this has happened, and then just have a quick little discussion to see how we feel about this and maybe what needs to be done or not done. So, of course, you know what this scene is. This is just the end. I didn't want to see him slap him again. I don't care. Oh, he's getting ready to slap. Whatever. Slap taste out of his mouth. Punk. Not Chris Rock. Will Smith was a punk for doing that. Will Smith was a bitch for doing that.
Oh, yes.
Agreed.
What's your name? Rachel. Are you with George?
Yeah.
Oh, you should not be with him. You should be with me. I love you long time. Come for the seminar.
Okay.
Maybe it depends on the. This would suck if it's a comedian you knew who it was, then you just got to take it. But if it's just like in Greensburg going to the comedy club, unless you're going to see a particular act, there's just going to be people there, you know.
Man, you're so pretty. Oh, me so horny. Me so horny.
Oh, that shit was going to happen.
Get him up.
Like, you so horny now?
Somebody get him.
You can't do that,
How's
dude.
Scarlet Sherbert? Oh, that's right. I told everybody not to fucking give your fat ass any. You haven't had to try any, have you? No, that's fucking right. And fucking Rob out west told you not to fuck.
You got a cat or a pet or anything? We can talk about your cat. We can talk about my plans for the garden. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, God. Some of this, though, is the guy's just dying and not being funny.
we go to B&Q. I was gonna get some hostas and line the fence with it, shit like that. How about you put some cream cheese on that banana bread? That's how I feel about you.
Oh, that was,
Oh.
He must have saw that coming, though. Sure.
I'd rather be hit personally than have a drink poured on me.
Wow.
That's what we call improv.
You haven't lived till you've had a sticky ass like wine thrown in your face when you're out. Not because I said something inappropriate. Let's see. Would he say something? Oh, what is this? You can talk about the folks that cheered on Square Enix for Tifa in a bikini, only for Square Enix to pull a Sweet Baby Inc. a few days later. The butt hurt from those folks was pretty funny. Yeah, I heard about that, man. They beefed up her boobs or something, didn't they? And people flipped out.
Oh, you can't do that.
People forgetting that, aren't they? The old Square Enix, they're one of Sweet Baby Inc.'s kind of clients, shall we say? So it
One of their
doesn't surprise me,
victims.
at least.
They're their latest victim.
Up here. I've never seen a big shaped banana bread more in my.
There was just one more I wanted to show. Thought they had.
Defending his
Okay.
ground.
This is from Kill Tony.
Wow.
Playing a game, no?
Hang on, I wanted. There it is. This one everybody's seen.
Was one of the most prolific producers that hip hop has ever presented, the mighty man Lil. Ladies
This been in the last year or two. The guy that's running at him, I think, had a knife.
and gentlemen, make some noise for hip hop history.
Is that Roman Reigns doing a spear?
That was Rhino Core. So it seems to be, maybe I'm wrong, but it seems like, and I understand, believe you me, I know the argument is everybody's got a camera now, right? But aside from that, it seems like this is ticked up, and especially I think people have been emboldened by what happened with Chris Rock. Gobster, you're the guest, my man. What do you think about all this? Is it ever okay?
No. To be fair, it's never okay to assault anyone.
Technically, yes, he's right. He is right.
because it is. I mean, the person. Okay, look, if he's making inappropriate jokes, if you go into a comedy show, you're going to expect it. You've got to expect it, and even if you don't like it, there's never an excuse to attack someone for something you don't agree with ever. Say something, walk out. Yes, physically attack someone. No, it's not right. And it was because of Will Smith doing that stupid thing, which backfired on him in any case. Let's be honest. You know, there was no need. It ruined his career. And the simple truth of the matter is, Chris Rock was telling the truth.
Mhm.
It's simple as that. And if you can't take it, then you shouldn't be doing it. But there's never an excuse. Violence is never the answer. Sorry, my cat's just joined me now.
I was going to say, wild cat has appeared. I'm looking at your camera, Gobster, going, "Oh, kitty cat."
Yeah.
I think a lot of these woke ideologues, they realize that their words don't hold any power when they have to compete with the truth, so they have to resort to physical violence to make their points heard, and there's no accountability. So yeah, that's why there's an uptick, because they keep getting away with it, like all other crimes that are rampant. Everyone's getting away with it.
Yeah, absolutely, 100% agree with that.
Tuna,
Absolutely.
do you think there should be maybe some sort of, I mean, I don't know how you could write a law, but I mean, I suppose you could write a law about attacking stage performers or something, but do you think there should be some sort of extra thing to protect? Not that it ever really does, but like, not a hate crime, but like hate crime on comedians.
No, I think the only additional kind of protections should only ever be for shop workers. So if you attack a worker, I think the punishment should be harsher. I think the problem is at the minute now we're just in a state of mind where everybody just wants to be offended by something. We need to go back to the time where everything was open for comedy, like kind of Ricky Gervais probably said in a bit of a more eloquent way. When you go to a comedy show, you need to be prepared to listen to, everything is up for grabs. You can make a joke about anything. If you're that sensitive, then it's probably better that you don't go to these shows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't see how comedy could even survive in this era. I mean, like the only people you could play to is like people like us, because otherwise.
Look at Gervais, though. To be fair, I mean, he's the perfect example of that. Megastar in the world of comedy, and he's saying what a lot of people are already thinking,
and somehow getting away with it. I don't know if it's because he's stopping. He's not taking
Netflix,
it.
They want that money, and they know that Ricky, Chappelle, and the like, they are the ones to bring it in.
Yeah, that's where the money is.
Absolutely.
Totally different subject. Since I've confirmed that you're a Doctor Who fan, and just to let everybody know, I'm finally going to be doing a solo vid. I'm going to be doing a video, like a read along review of the Star Beast comic book story, and
nice.
just to cleanse the awful. But what did you think about those specials, Gobster? Did you watch them?
Yeah.
I mean, like, I had to see him, man. I was like a rubbernecker in a car crash. I had to see him.
I did say when I was going to sit and watch them. I sat and watched them. It was about an hour of my life I'm never going to get back.
Good way to put it.
Well,
politely,
it was. I'd been running videos before that, warning people that you're not going to like this. This is really going to be bad, and you're going to get a whatever the hell of a boy regeneration rubbish is, and you're going to get this. And it didn't fail to it was embarrassing. It was. I didn't watch Shooty's first one. I just couldn't be bothered. I've lost it with Doctor Who now. I've walked away. In fact, I don't even engage in online or anything like that with any of the Doctor Who chat, unless he's talking about classic stuff.
Yeah,
I'm absolutely fine to talk about that. When Doctor Who was Doctor Who, but this new Docky Who or whatever
God, I hate hearing that. Yeah,
pile of junk.
And
what they did to Millie Gibson was expected. There was no way they were going to let a white companion stay in the TARDIS.
It's never enough, is it? We were saying this. It's never enough.
Never enough. You're never going to appease them. They're going to have something else.
Do you know? Oh, go ahead.
No, the simple thing, truth of the matter is, there's panic in Bad Wolf. There's panic in Doctor Who itself, because they know already that the new series is going to bomb something terrible. So they've tried a course correction by getting rid of Josie went because of Disney. 100% Disney's involvement. And they're struggling. I mean, look, the series. When's the series due? It's due very soon.
May.
Yeah, in May. Seen anything? seen any adverts, seen any trailers, seen any news particles, seen anything about Doctor Who?
Not since Christmas, no.
The
I
only,
mean,
thing, the only thing I've seen, I don't know if any of you guys, I mean, no one's mentioned it yet, so I don't know if it's new to you guys, but the Welsh government have paid Bad Wolf 4 million taxpayer
that.
pounds. So the only people getting rich out of this is fucking Russell T Davies. I mean,
Mhm.
it's,
Of course.
Bad Wolf's cleaning up.
But I think, well, they're cleaning up at the moment. We'll wait and see. I don't think it's going to do very, very well.
No.
As with everything else nowadays in the modern era, they're pandering to an audience that doesn't exist.
Yep, absolutely.
And that's the problem. You're pandering to the bots on Twitter who are trying to big it up, but they're bots. They're mobile phones in a warehouse.
They're not a committed fan base. Even if they did exist, let's say half these wokies were actually half the population. They're not a committed type of people that would stick to your show. You've pissed them off in one way, and they'll cancel you. These are not people you want behind your back. These are not people you want being your fans, defending you. You want people who are hardcore fans, generational fans, who you had, who would stick with you through all the nonsense. I mean, Peter Capaldi's run was full of crap. We all know that, and people still stuck with it. You still had that, that drive to keep watching the show. You were still invested in it. You were still theorizing, even when the show had its problems. But now it's like they've pissed us off so much. They got rid of all of us because they didn't want us anymore. We're gone, and then they got the fans that they asked for, and now they ran away, man.
Yeah, the fans that don't spend any money and never did.
No, I
The
mean
ones you don't want.
Yeah, I mean, you can look at the effect of Madam Web. Madam Web was all bigged up. No one's turned up. I mean, it's got to be it's one of the worst performing movies ever. No one turned up because you were pandering to an audience that didn't exist.
It didn't even break 100 million.
Yeah, I saw that.
It was
So bad.
$200 in cinemas last week, if memory serves.
Oh my gosh, that's horrible.
Hang on.
A clip of one of my friends who went on. He actually went to see it at the cinema, and he had the cinema to himself. It was on his own.
Yeah.
On his own, and that was at 7:00 on a Friday evening showing, which is normally busy.
Friday. Oh my gosh.
Empty. He was literally on his own. Literally on his own. So that says it all, doesn't it? It really does, And they still don't learn. They still won't learn. They'll still keep punching this rubbish out.
These numbers should be accurate.
Still got Craven to go, yeah.
Oh,
God.
Gobster, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Why do you think that they're still continuing to put these crap movies out? I mean, it's getting so bad now. How could it possibly be worth the risk?
Yeah, basically because they blow the smoke up their own backsides. It's as simple as that. They genuinely think that they're doing a great job.
But in terms of money, like how are they keeping their business afloat?
I genuinely don't know. Eventually, it's going to crash. Eventually, the losses will kill them. I mean, look at the way Disney's struggling like hell
it's
now.
Destroying them, man.
It's tearing them up. And the thing is, there's no one in any of those organizations are going, don't you think we should stop now? Because I don't know about you, but we're losing money. And no one's saying that. And if they are, they're being ignored. Because it's all about this message they've got to put up, and they seem to be they just want to eat themselves alive just to get that message out. There's going to be nothing left. There's going to be these studios. I mean, Paramount's in trouble. Disney's in trouble. I mean, Paramount's on its knees. Disney's in trouble.
Disney was the biggest brand in 2019. Like that was just only a few days ago, guys. How did they fall so quickly?
They went
we know why.
We know what. Everybody knows what.
They went from like the penthouse straight to the shitter.
Yeah.
I mean, like they and that's what we're always talking about that on here, Gobster, and we say the same thing. It's like they've got to run out of money eventually or something, because you can't, even with the fake money, BlackRock money, you can't go forever. Exactly, and that too.
License fee money, baby.
Now the guys, Joe and Tuna haven't really seen much Classic Who, and so oddly enough, Gobster, the American here, has watched almost all. The only Doctor I haven't seen is Pertwee, and I'm taking care of that this week. So before last year, I watched from the 4th Doctor up, like all the way, and then I went back and I've recently did Hartnell and Troughton. So I'm only missing one Doctor, and I was going to ask you, who's your favorite Classic Doctor?
Oh, Tom Baker. 100%.
Okay, yeah, me too. But Go
the only Doctor. There is no one else.
Damn right.
He's the only Doctor. He was just the perfect person for that role.
And
Tennant when he came back, well, not in the recent Tennant, but Tennant when he came, it's close. Not new woke Tennant. I've got non-binary kids Tennant.
Right.
Wearing stupid t-shirts Tennant. But before, you will never match the energy and the passion of Tom Baker. You just won't. And it was a shame because his last series, you could see he didn't want to be there anymore. It had falling outs, and he didn't want to be there. And it's a
Production
shame.
teams was changing and everything.
He just had enough. And also, to be fair, on the other side, he was getting rather large, rather big for his own boots, to be honest. So, but yeah, Tom Baker's by far the best. Hold on a second. My daughter wants to ask me something. What? You're going for a shower. Go on then.
Hello.
She's on. She's gone.
So yeah, I love Tom Baker too. That's why I started. I told the guys when we first started hanging out doing streams that I could never watch Classic Who. Something turned me off of it. But the things that turn me off of it are the things that I absolutely am in love with and embrace now. And what I would say is the modern stuff got so bad that it allowed me to say, you know what, it's not about the best graphics. It's not about the best this, that, or the other. It's about who's trying the hardest, a good story. And I love Doctor Who anyway. So I went back, watched Classic, and I'm a bigger fan of Classic than I am of New Who now. That's
because Doctor Who back then was all about the story.
Yeah.
That's what sold it. I mean, for those people who haven't been, if you go on my channel, I did a series with John the White where me and him have actually spoke about every single Doctor Who episode from the beginning all the way up to the last episode of Peter Capaldi. We'd literally covered every single episode. That's 3.5 hours worth of
check that out.
Episodes. It's a huge it's a big podcast. It's called Why We Love Doctor Who, because that's
why we love Doctor Who. Y'all need to check that out and make sure you go subscribe to Gobster too.
Thank you.
So we got to get you up to 2,000. But ex-British Army Paz 49. What's up, man? Welcome.
Hey, brother.
What's up, Paz? Nice to see you, brother. Nice to see you.
Thank all the military people for your service. Even if it wasn't in my country, it was in service to yours and somebody. So
we've all let the same mud. We've all let the same mud. Let's be honest.
Yeah, exactly. It's all Western. Thank you for your service to the West. So I always joke and say my favorite classic Doctor is the one that's on screen because I just like it all, man. But I just totally embraced it. I embraced even the cheap look. I was like, oh, that's cool. I love how they do that. I love miniatures and models and painted backdrops and stuff now. So I just embraced it all.
Oh, the thing is, remember they were working with limited skill. There wasn't all the technology around, and they were working with a very tight budget. And they managed to get, and they turned out, if you watch it and if you accept that, when it was made and the special effects that you're going to get, if you just watch it for the stories they came out with, absolutely riveting. They just
it was good stuff, man.
And it was because it was also you'll have a 4-part story or a 6-part story, and you were always left on a proper cliffhanger.
That's another thing. I like that format better. What about you, Gob? You like that? I love that 25-minute episode split into multi-parts like that. I like that,
it's
man.
Just awesome. I mean, that's how it was filmed, and it was just it sucks you in. You're there, and by the time you get to the third or fourth, I mean, okay, let's be honest. In a 6-part episode, probably part 4, part 5, going to be a bit
sometimes,
ropey. A bit ropey. But the simple truth, man, is if you watch the whole story together, it's a masterpiece. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are really bad episodes of classic Doctor Who, absolute trash, but the vast majority of them were just so entertaining and enjoyable, and it showed you what the Doctor was all about, which is a madman in a box running around saving the universe with nothing but his brains, and in reality, in the first few, not even a sonic screwdriver.
Right. And the stakes seemed really higher in the classic show. I mean, what's funny to me is my 42-year-old ass laying across the couch and I'm watching Doctor Who episode. It was a William Hartnell thing. I don't even remember which one, but I'm like, go. I got into it and I was like, wow, okay. That means it was good. No wonder that shit stuck around,
The thing is, with William Hartnell, we hadn't even touched regeneration. None of this was, so when the Doctor got into trouble, the Doctor was in trouble, genuinely in trouble, because we'd never heard of regeneration. And then the invention of regeneration to bring in a new actor was a stroke of genius, because it meant the show could go forever, absolutely forever, and until you get to the newer stuff where it's just.
Oh, I think it's one of the most genius plot devices, like in the history of I don't know if you say television storytelling, but
and come out of pure desperation. It came out of desperation because William Hartnell was ill. He was really, really ill, and the show was beginning to really sort of get traction here in the UK. So they thought, well, we have to replace him, and it was literally that the regeneration was born out of desperation. How can we get another actor in, and it'd be logical? And there you go. Yeah. And then it was going absolutely great until we come to the Timeless Child, and then then it doesn't matter. The Doctor can regenerate 60 billion times. So therefore, as soon as they did that, and apart from all the other issues I had with the Timeless Child, is the fact that the Doctor was no longer ever in peril, because the Doctor could die and die and die. So there's no peril. There's you kill him, so what? He comes back or she comes back.
It's almost like they Jack Harknessed the Doctor, isn't it?
Exactly, they Jack Harknessed the Doctor.
Just they got to the destination through a different route, but it's basically the same thing.
And then now with the new one, with the bioregeneration, now all the Doctors are all alive all of the time. So what was the point?
I'm so confused. I mean,
what is the point?
I don't know. It's so stupid. Did you see those Tales from the TARDIS, Gobster, that they did, where they went back and talked to like Jamie and some of the older people, some of the older characters?
Okay, it was, but the problem is now with the way it is now, the new stuff will tarnish anything it touches.
That's true.
So going back to there, yes, it was great to see the characters, but it's attached to what it is now, and that leaves
got a question for the Matt Smith expert. Joe, do you want to take this one?
Outer God, Matt Smith didn't ruin anything. Nothing in Matt Smith's era ruined anything. Get out of here. Get out of here, man.
They granted him the new regeneration cycle, so I'm like, okay, cool. They can go for another 50 years. And
but what's the point of granting another regeneration cycle if he has or she has unlimited regeneration? Right?
Now
it makes no sense.
Now it doesn't matter, right? Yeah.
Ruined that story, but the simple truth of the matter is they had to give more regenerations, because let's be honest, when they originally wrote the regeneration sequence, they never imagined it would get to 13 different actors.
Right.
They never imagined it would go to 50 years. So eventually, because they tied themselves down to the magic, was it 13 regenerations and that's it? They had to work a way around it to keep the show going. But remember that, as I said, when it was originally written, they had no idea it was going to go this far.
When was the 13 established as part of the lore? Was it like Paul McGann?
Tom Baker, wasn't it?
Tom Baker?
Tom Baker. Yeah, there was talk of it. But then, it was a cast-off line. It was literally just a cast-off line. And unfortunately, as with everything in sci-fi, it becomes canon. And then you get a problem, because then back when we used to care about canon, when canon
when it meant something. Yeah.
It actually meant something, because then they were getting to like 11th regeneration, and you would have classic fans going, you're running out of regenerations, what are you going to do now? And people were asking that question, so they had to come up with a solution. And to be fair, Matt Smith was probably one of the most underrated Doctors.
Thank you. I love this guy.
Yeah, we all know Ncuti Gatwa. He's the most underrated Doctor.
Oh, yeah, I know that. But I mean, when I watched Matt Smith's era, I was like, but then when I've watched it back, and he gets the old man in a young man's body so perfect, so perfect, and he is such an underrated Doctor. He genuinely is. And I originally he was low down, but I put him just below Tom Baker now. I
agree. I did a rewatch of Matt Smith's Gobster.
He was a genius.
I agree.
And the thing is, what an actor! Genuinely, what an actor!
This competition is making me so happy. By the way, just got to point that out.
Sure. Well, I like his run too, but my thing, a doctor sounds like years old. Lord, yeah, that's another weird thing. A guy who's 1,000 years old hitting on a 19-year-old girl. I mean, if I was a dad, I want to kick his Gallifreyan ass. You know what I'm saying?
Let's be honest, that's only because of the new era when we turned it into a soap opera.
Right. I would have been cool if they hooked him up with Romana. She was like one of my favorites for some reason. I love Romana. And but I know it doesn't really work to have him long term with another Time Lord. You need a human to kind of have eyes through. But yeah, I
Well, you're
definitely
supposed to.
love the old.
You're
I
supposed
definitely
to.
love the old stuff. Right.
Yeah, it is. It is. It is. When you analyze it like that, it is really, really creepy.
Going
Yeah,
back to Matt Smith real quick. I know a lot of people diss. I know I have to. I know a lot of people will diss on his later seasons because they're objectively more poorly written than the first two. But when you look back in hindsight, after seeing the new Russell T Davies specials, even Jodie Whittaker and even Peter Capaldi's later era, his third season is actually great compared to a lot of these episodes. I mean, it's better than 80% of what came afterwards. So I mean, there's a lot of great stuff in Peter Capaldi's there, a lot of great stuff. But
again, another guy who could have been one of the greatest doctors ever, because the man loved the show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, just imagine.
Genuinely loved that show, and he was thrown under the bus for the grand experiment that failed.
How do you feel about his later seasons? Because a lot of people will say, "Oh, the seasons, if you were to rank them, would be the best is 8, second best is 9, the worst one is 10." Is that how you feel?
Yeah,
basically?
I mean, you could see the wokeness creeping in, but
Yeah.
the thing is, which when we were talking about it on when we were talking about the podcast, we were talking about the wokeness coming in, and we all agreed that even when the script was crap, my God, every time he was on the screen, he lifted it.
You just like to watch him. You just it's like Tom Baker. He has that Tom Baker has, that voice and the magnetism and the way he carries himself just get your attention. I think he had something similar to him in that regard.
Because he believed he was the Doctor. He loved the Doctor that much. He genuinely became the Doctor. So no matter how bad the writing, and this is the difference between the writing was as bad as Capaldi's last series as it was with Jodie Whittaker. The difference was with Capaldi, you had an actor. With Jodie Whittaker, you had a script reader, and that was the difference.
Yeah, it helps the medicine go down a little better if you have, Capaldi.
Well, with him, you could give him a really crappy line, and he could just lift it to that level where even though you went, "Oh, that was awful," you'd still think, "But my God, I enjoyed listening to saying it," because he was just, and he was a shine.
He's got a show on Amazon. I don't know if you guys have seen it. I have to look and see. I can't remember the name of it, but it's like this guy who keeps being kind of reincarnated. And so, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. And he comes off like a serial killer, but he's really doing things for a reason. What is the name of that show? Somebody find that name.
I saw a clip from this.
But yeah, I recommend you guys go watch. I cannot remember what's the name of it. Let's see here. Peter.
But no, Capaldi's an awesome actor. He genuinely is.
One of the things. Yeah, I agree. And one of the things I was saying, like in a video I came out with when the specials were airing, was that I was really thinking, why didn't they just use the specials as a way to bring back the Doctor, like the new Doctors, as a sort of like 50th anniversary sort of reunion, if you will? Because one of my points was that these Doctors are getting older. Peter Capaldi is getting older, and you're really squandering your opportunities by not bringing him back while you have him available.
Yeah.
And Matt Smith, I made this point too. Like, and I know people commented and said, "Well, they never did the classic series." I'm like, that's fine. I grew up with the new series. That's my series. So that's kind of the lens in which I look through things. And having the Doctors come back and have this sort of anniversary moment is sort of like, that's something I do kind of expect and look forward to if that happens. And like Matt Smith's getting older. If you say you do this in like 10 years from now, which you have to do really, unless you do a 65th, then it's like, okay, Matt Smith is now he's going to look significantly older than he did when he was like 20 years old playing the Doctor. Whereas now, like he could still get away with it, and he would look very close to how he did, because he's a very young guy. He was the youngest Doctor, I think, actor to ever play the Doctor, right? Peter Capaldi. You never know what could happen with someone older, and it's like, I feel like Russell really fucked up by not having an anniversary special where it was a reunion, because what the specials were is like, people say, well, actually, I don't want a reunion. I want new stories. Well, no, you still got a reunion of sorts. It was just a season 4 reunion. It was like Russell patting himself on the back, bringing back his best, and then ruining that. So, if it's not obvious already, the specials are crap.
let's be honest. Tennant and Catherine Tate were literally brought back just to try and drag people in. That was the only reason they were brought back.
Just bait.
And to watch a doctor who, when Tennant did his first series, his first, stint as a doctor, some of those episodes are still one of my favorite episodes. I just loved Tennant, and then to watch his character, very reminiscent of what they did to Luke Skywalker in Star Wars,
Yep.
just completely destroy that character.
100%.
For what?
That's about the most disappointing I've ever been. Not the most, but I mean, Last Jedi was.
He must have been lapping all of that up.
Oh, he loves it. But the thing is, it's like the reason we didn't have Capaldi come back. We didn't have Matt Smith come back. We didn't have Eccleston come back. Is because they had their bridges burnt, and they are not going to touch that show. They're just not going. Eccleston will never work with Russell T Davies ever again.
Yeah, he
not
made
in a million years.
Never in a million years. Matt Smith at the time, let's be honest, was brilliant and doing awesome in Hollywood. So why the hell would he want to come back?
Well, Morbius, honestly.
Always time.
You look at Morbius. He was the star of Morbius. Genuinely, he was awesome.
He was the high point, wasn't he?
So good. Yeah. I mean, the rest of the film was awful, but he was really good.
He is good. He's got good presence.
He's a brilliant actor. He's an absolute. I still think he's one of the most underrated actors around at the moment. To be fair,
I'm glad he's finally getting the recognition. Oh, sorry, Brendan.
Oh no, I was saying I don't disagree with that. Go ahead, Joe.
I'm glad he's finally getting the recognition he deserves. He was in Terminator Genesis and Morbius and these movies that just kind of bombed. And then you have House of the Dragons and The Crown, and it's like, okay, those are we get to see him in his acting glory. Yeah,
absolutely.
He's just a fine actor, man. He's good in House of the Dragon, but there again, that's just kind of like when I'm watching older episodes of Doctor Who or especially New Who, and I'm like, this is only leading toward the timeless children, just like House of the Dragon is only leading, just like Gary says on Neurotic, it only ends one way.
Yep, exactly.
So let's step out of the fake world for a little bit and step into the all too not fun real world.
Oh, don't bring us back to the real world, man.
Man. Don't worry, we'll dip in and out so we don't get dish pan hands.
God, not this.
Let's see. Good villain. Oh, Woody's made a good point though too. Good villains can elevate a bad film. Look at Bale in Love and Thunder. Yeah,
exactly. Awesome. Yep.
So check this out, guys. We got some. I would say we got some Canadian craziness, but what else is new?
Yeah.
It says 5 things to know about Canada's proposed law to guard against online harms. But that's pretty timid way. I believe there's possible life imprisonment is one of the sentences. So let's check it out. This came out 3 days ago. Ottawa, Prime Minister Justin Castro, Justin Trudeau's government has tabled its long-awaited legislation to better protect Canadians, and particularly youth, against online harms. Here are 5 things Bill C-63 proposes to do. Target specific types of harmful content. The government is looking to target the non-consensual sharing of intimate images. Okay. Bill, let's see. The bill would also cover anything online that is used to bully a child or urge them to commit self-harm. Content that incites violent extremism or terrorism. That's the problem because they'll label any dissenting opinion as extremism. That's where we're headed. That's the whole point of this, in my opinion.
This is how it starts, isn't it? It's for your protection.
Oh, it's all for your protection.
It's death by a million fucking cuts, man, because by the time they get done with your ass, you're drained. So there is overlap with the 5 categories of content the government proposed tackling in a 21 consultation doc. One key difference, the earlier plan included provisions around hate speech writ large, whereas the new bill does not. Second, second of the 5 things is add fresh responsibilities for online platforms. Yeah, so start blaming them. The bill seeks to usher in new rules for online platforms, one of which is broadly defined as the, quote, duty to act responsibly. Under that banner, companies would be expected to reduce their users' exposure to harmful content by continuously assessing such risks, developing mitigation strategies, and providing tools for users to flag harmful content. So they also want to make it easier for you to turn off, which I don't think is the block button's there for a reason. But I don't think it's good to turn off any dissenting opinion because you'll never hear anything else. You know what I mean? That's the problem with a lot of things. So going
on, but there's no harm in blocking the occasional weirdo, though, is there?
Oh
There's-
yeah, no. I'm just saying, like, I don't see. I mean, I could see like putting more pressure on them about like CP and stuff on there, but otherwise, I mean, I don't. You know, we stop babying people, man. Let's see. Third one: create a new regulator and new ombudsperson. The government seeks to create a new quote digital safety commission. Oh, this is like another truth commission. It'll be like the Digital Truth Commission, which would be comprised of 5 individuals appointed by cabinet. It would be separate from the Canadian Radio, Television, and Telecommunications Commission, which regulates traditional broadcasters. So what they're saying is that's going to be like a new regulatory body for online stuff. The new body would be in charge of ensuring online platforms follow
It'll
the
be the
rules.
inevitable replacement, won't it?
Yeah,
Of
and
course.
they'll be like, I don't know if you guys are familiar with OSHA, but it's like the occupational safety hazard something, and they come around to like factories and stuff, and they make sure that safety standards are being followed, and wear your earplugs, blah blah blah, turn this machine off, and this is basically like that. So this is like a mother for online stuff, for social media, can have its own government body to smack it. Give companies 24 hours to remove certain content. The law seeks to give the new Digital Safety Commission power to order removal of content that sexually victimizes a child or re-victimizes a survivor, as well as intimate images shared without an individual's consent. Government says this says companies must remove the material within 24 hours. The government says users can file a complaint with the platform itself or to the new regulator. It promises, quote, frivolous complaints would be screened out.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So it's
Thoughts so far?
interesting they're sprinkling a little bit of good, aren't they? So the whole thing about kind of child images and stuff.
Because they
But in
think
reality, it's just leading on to kind of bigger, more horrible things, isn't it?
it's just more Big Brother in the end.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's all it is more Big Brother.
Also, what happens if the information they're requesting to take down is not on Canadian soil? I mean, if it's on a server in fucking Cuba or Switzerland or whatever, how does that
They're going
work?
to extradite over my Canadian hate
They're
crimes.
going to get
Probably-
probably
something like- It's probably something like China, where they just have to
China.
censor everything coming out from the outside and funnel it through their.
Yeah, how does that work? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know how they would do it, but probably the same way Trudeau's best friend, Chinese communist leader, does it.
Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah.
Yep. Isn't it? Can I just
I
say,
love
isn't it?
China. I'm really sorry.
Yeah, China, we love you.
Never apologize.
Isn't it weird that the same government that's killing their population through suicide chambers is telling people that they should be punished for saying mean things online?
It's
It's
pathetic.
because
It's-
Canada is what the WEF want everybody to be a bit further along.
How immoral do you have to be to be like that?
On
Like I
the
can't even
immoral.
wrap my head around that. I mean, you have people who are like depressed, mentally ill, and sick, and then they're just recommending that they have
Yeah.
assisted suicide, and they have the goal to say, "Oh, we need to start controlling the internet because we can't have dissenting opinions about our government." It's like,
Because you'd hit the nail on the head. That's what it's about. It's about controlling opinions, and the people that don't conform, off you go to. Dare I
Prison.
say?
I would get out of there, man. If you're
I would
there,
blame
I would get
myself.
out of there because that is.
It's going to
We're
be.
very
It's what this kind of globalist agenda wants everywhere. I think putting my paranoid hat on. It's what they want.
Oh yeah, it's the same. It's just the UK and Canada are getting hit with it the hardest first because I don't know. I guess maybe because they took most of. I mean, I guess maybe the guns is an issue. I don't know really. It might be something else, but eventually I think it'll get worse here too.
I don't know what Gobster kind of thinks, but it's just disappointing that we removed ourselves from Brexit and we just find ourselves in the middle of this stuff. It doesn't matter how you try to operate politically; you just end up under the same umbrella and you don't even know it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We're screwed. Let's be honest. It's as
We should
simple
be
as that.
fully independent. We shouldn't be dealing with any of the new stuff, but yet here we are.
But the problem is, we voted for Brexit. We got Brexit. Unfortunately, the people we rely on to implement it is the civil service, who don't want Brexit, so we didn't get it. It's as simple as that. We were never going to get it. I mean, surprisingly, I've a lot of people who've commented recently. Obviously, I'm a gammon who voted Brexit, but I knew we would never get it because it's our civil service that won't let it happen. Yeah, it just won't let it happen, and our civil service will never let it happen because it's not in their interest. It's not in their interest, and they're never going to let it happen. But here in the UK, I mean, this thing that Canada's bringing in is here. It's called the Online Safety Bill, which is exactly the same thing, which is it's to protect the children. No, it bloody well isn't. It's to destroy everybody's freedom of speech.
Absolutely.
If the online safety bill comes up, the stuff I say on my channel's gone instantly because I'm not allowed to dissent.
Because you're offending people.
Because I'm. Thing is, everybody should have we all have the right to criticize somebody else.
Absolutely.
When I grew up back in the the late 70s and early 80s, if they think it's bad now with insults, you should have lived back then. And if I went in and said, if I went in and said, Dad, this bloke's been calling me this, that, and the other, he'd just go, well, oh yeah. And if you aren't, do something about it. Deal with him. That was it. It was like, now it's just like everything is. I mean, I don't know whether Tuna's heard this about the school in Kent, who've now allowed their senior school girls to wear fake eyelashes to protect their mental health.
Yes.
Because the time taking to remove their fake eyelashes is damaging their mental health. So we're allowing them to wear,
isn't it? Just panda.
Man, we're screwed.
I mean, if I turned up when I used to be a kid, if I turned up, my tie knot wasn't straight, I was sent home. It's just like, go home and sort your tie out. And then if I went home, I'd get slapped around the ear by my dad. Why have you come home? Because my tie's not right.
We're worrying about kind of fake eyelashes in the meantime while we're letting 60-year-old men swim with kind of preteen schoolgirls.
Right, and 1,000-year-old Time Lords take 19-year-old chicks in their box. Man, it's messed up. So, staying on the same subject, but this is the main part that I wanted to show you.
Yeah, sorry, we kind of sidetracked, didn't we?
No. We're talking about the same stuff, dude. No, this is the same subject we're talking about, but now we're gonna add in like penalties. Change the Canadian Human Rights Act, add stiffer sentences for hate crimes, and this was the main reason I wanted to show y'all this article. The government is seeking to add online hate speech as a form of discrimination under the law and allow people to file complaints against individuals posting such content to the Canadian Human Rights Commission. It also seeks to make changes to the criminal code, which is where we get into sentencing, including raising the maximum punishment for hate propaganda offenses. For example, someone found guilty of advocating genocide could face life imprisonment up from 5 years in prison. So 5 to your whole life. The government is also looking to create a new hate crime offense that will be applied to every other offense instead of only listing it as an aggravating factor during sentencing. So, I mean, everything's illegal. I mean,
yeah,
go ahead.
Isn't it funny? It depends on who defines hate.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
We have
subjective.
but we have a perfect example here in the UK. A group of people can walk down the streets calling for the genocide of an entire race while holding terrorist flags, and that's fine. Yeah. But if I stand there with the Union Jack, I'll be arrested for hate crime.
We have an example here too. BLM, Summer of Love.
Oh yeah, that's Summer of Love.
Versus like J6. Yeah, there's still people in the gulag over J6 that they're still trying to get out. But I mean, that was one thing, regardless of more details around it. But that was one thing as an American that tipped me off. Okay, things are bad now because we're starting to jailing political opponents, trumping up, no pun intended, charges that aren't real, and then also all the stuff they've done against Trump. I mean, this is all the same stuff because it's all the same people that want to homogenize the world and get us down to about 500 million people or whatever and make us eat bugs.
We're the carbon, isn't it? That's the same. We're the carbon they want to reduce.
They want to get rid of it. It's like there's a lot of people with I don't know, 8-figure incomes and double-digit IQs running the world, that sort of thing, you know. And they want this, and they're going to cram it down our throats. And the scary thing is that you could end up in jail over something you said on the internet. And people have already, but they'll start escalating things. So like you could get on there and say, hey, especially I could easily see this happening in Canada or England, is get on the internet and say, you know what, we need to get these guys out of here. They could be burning down half of your city, and you could say, we just need to get all these people for particular persuasion just out of our town. They'd be charging you with hate crimes or trying to do a genocide. I mean, it's awful, man.
It is. It's a frightening time to live. It's a genuinely frightening time to live. You know, it's scary. And the thing is, for me, I worry more about.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, hello, Yvette. Nice one. I worry about my children. I worry about my
Me
grandchildren
too. Me too.
because
Scary.
I mean, which is why on my channel I've moved on to talking about this particular issue, because this is to me, ex-forces. This is a clear and present danger, and we need to deal with it. And I won't forget the oath that I swore to the Queen then, King now, which is defend the country from enemies, both foreign and domestic. And I see this as a clear and present danger, and I will do whatever it takes to protect my children and my grandchildren. It's as
Hell
simple
yeah.
as that. And I
Same,
will stay-
man.
I'll stay on the YouTube until they ban me on YouTube. I'll say it on Twitter until they ban me on there. I'm not going to stop. I just genuinely, I mean, as I said, I've only just recently done it, and the level of abuse and hate that I'm getting by just talking about it demonstrates the issue that we have.
I know I'm gonna start getting it any day. I've managed to avoid it thus far, but yeah,
as soon
it'll
as
come. Maybe
one of them,
today.
as soon as one of them spotted me, that was it.
But I mean, I don't care. I don't give a shit.
Yeah,
But thank you for the views.
I mean, I'm there like, thanks for the engagement. Thanks for the views. Because
I wonder how much of it is AI now at this point, because these people know like they're the minority, so they
There's a
probably
fair
like
amount of bots
artificially bump their numbers up, like, you know what I mean? So I
Oh,
wouldn't,
yeah,
I wouldn't even like listen to half these.
programs, aren't they?
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
I was on a stream with Wookie Fever, and we were talking about bots and how they're generating the crisis that isn't really there. That's
what they're supposed to be doing. There's some bot farm somewhere, and somebody in Korea or China or Russia is having them stir shit up. Basically.
Oh, did you hear about the Google AI thing?
Oh, don't even go there.
Wicked.
Oh my gosh! I don't know if you meant to talk about
so
this,
much
Brandon.
fun, dude. I've got y'all go over and follow me on X, Culture Pop B Hop, and if you'll scroll through my timeline, you will see a Viking eating a watermelon, and there's a couple of them. And so, like, I came up with some. I came up with some pretty funny ones, just because the people were talking about this. That was on Bing. The one I did was on like the Bing freebie AI stuff. And I was just putting
Bing is
in
very
like,
sensitive. Do you not find that, Brandon? You have to.
Yeah, I have to tailor my words, or it won't make anything. You can just mention a name and it won't like it. But yeah, that's some scary stuff, Joe, because you can see like when it asks them questions and it give like propagandic answers about people
like the
and
founding fathers. They would make all the founding fathers like African American. Like they wouldn't even say generate African American founding fathers. Say generate founding fathers. And then they would make them African American. I think Google had to like take it down recently, didn't they? Because that's a good sign of some sort of progress happening.
Yeah, but the best thing is the complaints only really started kicking in, which I thought was really is when it started making black Nazis. Then apparently it was a real problem. But up until then, no one was really kicking up a foot. Really? So that was the limit. That was the line. Yeah.
There's never any action until it hits a certain proportion of society.
As soon as it hits them, like our politicians, as soon as it hits them, now it's a problem. But unfortunately, our politicians go, well, yeah, we know what the problem is. It's you far right people on the internet.
Gob, so all our politicians want to talk about right now are Gaza, and it's getting on my tits.
Why? Who cares?
All the time.
It's all about Gaza and gays.
The thing is with Gaza, look, I hate to say it to anyone who's listening on the internet, it doesn't matter what you or I think. They don't care.
Exactly.
They're going to do what they want to do. You can't tell Israel to do anything that Israel doesn't want to do. And the people, the Gaza and the terrorists, Hamas, are going to do what they want to do. They don't care whether a school board in Minnesota voted against it. They're not interested. And well, it's true. I mean, look, the simple truth of the matter is, I'm British. I live here. I'm more worried about my old not being able to keep their houses warm. I'm worried about ex-veterans living homeless when people who come over here on dinghy can get a hotel for free. I'm worried about those things, potholes in my roads. I'm worried about all the things that should be. I have no dogs in the fight. If two people thousands of miles away in the desert want to have a go at each other, knock yourself out.
So why
we can't even
because it's being used. It's been hijacked to push Islamic thoughts through, which is going to be reintroducing blasphemy laws into the UK through the back door. That's what it's for.
what these fools following them too don't realize, Gobster, is they think they're standing with a particular religion or something,
yeah,
but
they
it's
think
just
they're the
being
angels in
used
this
as
situation.
a vehicle. That's just the vehicle they're using to get certain support and to kind of trick people. They don't realize like you're screwed either way, because if the man's in power, he's going to hold you down, and if they do Sharia law, you damn sure going to be held down. Oh God.
Well, I mean,
It's,
let's be honest. Let's be honest. If you actually read the Quran, if you're not a follower, a true Muslim, no matter what you say, what you do, you are a kafar. You are subhuman.
It says
And
it.
It says it in black and white in their book, and they will use you. You are useful until you're not. And if you think like politicians, by bending the knee and appeasing them, it's going to save you, I have a horrible feeling it's not. It's not.
Yeah,
And
I worry about my kids. You know, I've
I'm
got
terrified.
one I got one that's grown, and then my other two boys, they're going to be 16 in March, both of them, my son and my stepson. And like, I'm all the time saying something to my wife, like, how in the hell are they going to get a house? Like, how in the hell are they going to be able to finance a house with the cost? And how are they going to do this? How are they going to do that? So like, I'm already dreaming up stuff in my head. Like, okay, well, when my wife's parents pass away, we'll take that house and give it to this kid. And then when my mom passes away, we'll take it, you know, and that's the only thing I know to do, because unless I have it for them, I just don't know unless they and you see, I've been trying to tell them too, like, learn a trade. Don't worry about going to school. Learn a trade, and you will clean up, make enough money. You won't have to worry about a house, you know.
For now,
But
anyway.
right for now, yeah. Until you're living in the 15-minute city and eating roaches, you know.
that's if we're all around then still, because with what the German Prime Minister did and Putin said today, I wouldn't count your chickens. I don't know whether you heard about that.
No, enlighten us. What was it?
Well, the German Prime Minister basically said to we're having all this fighting and NATO were it was the British and the French who've been supplying the cruise missiles, Russia, that've been blowing you up. It's got nothing to do with us whatsoever.
It was them. That's funny.
It's them. And he did that speech 1 hour before Putin came out to do his address to the nation. And guess what Putin said? I'm going to nuke Britain and France because NATO are using this as a war. Thanks, Germany. Nice one. Thank you so much.
They're trying to
payback, isn't
appease
it?
us on the news over here, Gobster. One of the things they're trying to appease Americans with, and this is a new one, because up until now, it was intercontinental ballistic missiles can reach you anywhere in the world. Now they're like, well, Putin probably wouldn't attack all the way over to mainland U.S. He's probably just going to be bombing people in Europe and shit. And I'm like, well, it's still bad for them in the world dropping nukes, you know? So
It's okay. It's okay. We can fight him with those 6 blokes who are still in the army, because we haven't got an armed forces anymore.
We haven't got a navy, have we? Because they're still looking for
haven't got a
admirals.
navy.
and the like.
We haven't got a navy. We haven't got an air force. We haven't got soldiers. And even if we did, 95% of our equipment is now sitting burning in Ukraine. Thanks for that. That's really helpful. It's just
we tapped a bunch of our reserves, like our oil reserves. We've some of our ammunition stockpile we give, and I'm sure you did too. But
we've run out. We are now, because I still obviously people I talk to in the military. At the moment, if the war kicked off, our artillery shell supply is enough for 2 days, and then we're out.
So basically, if we had enough, we'd have to get over there with them, or you guys would be screwed. And I feel like we're not going to be able to help anybody this time.
No.
You know what I mean?
I mean,
I don't think we're going to be in a position to help.
I mean, I've been doing videos trying to highlight how bad the British military is, and when our second senior officer told us that the best thing she used to do when she was a brigadier was to get her team to do laughter yoga to get him in the right frame of mind. Yeah.
I bet that really pisses you off because you're an ex-soldier.
Oh,
you are a soldier.
Yeah.
But
I mean, you never leave, do you? You never.
That's what my friend who was a Marine in the United States Marine Corps one time when he had gotten out, and I was like, yeah, this guy used to be a Marine like you, and he said, no, I am a Marine. Like, and that was something I learned. Like, you always are, yeah. And so I figured if I were you in your shoes and I had actually gone through the trouble and knowing, like you said, you were in like 87 to the early 90s, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, I would imagine they were a lot harsher on you back then than they would be today doing laughter yoga. You know what I'm saying? They're just like, I have a grandfather who was, God rest his soul, he was drafted for Korea. So it was like, he was drafted in 53. And the funny thing was he was on a ship on the way over, changing continents, and they signed the armistice while he was on the way over. And all these guys, like a bunch of local hicks like me, all thinking they're going to die in Korea, they get diverted, and he gets to go guard a castle in Italy for 2 years. But
Nice.
like he told awful stories, and anybody you ever talk to, you can go watch Full Metal Jacket and stuff like that. My understanding is they can't get away, even over here, they can't get away with a lot of that anymore. I mean, like they've really like pussified them. That's the only way I know how
We've
to put
seen
it.
who's in the army, though, haven't we, Brandon? You see the clips of, you know, the woke brigade are there, you know.
Oh, with 100%. I mean, let's be honest now. We're dropping the fitness test down now.
Yeah.
And And if you come from a migrant background, you don't need to worry about those security checks.
That's what I was going to ask Obster, just as a fellow fellow countryman. What do you think about the adverts that the British Army have been running about a group of kind of army guys there? While you know where this is going.
I know which one you're on about,
you know
son.
where this is going. Where someone of a minority is praying, and they're all just stood around, and it's supposed to be like this kind of calm Zen kind of thing, but it looks absolutely ridiculous.
that.
Yeah. I mean, when it came out, my tweet on Twitter was, "That's it. Why did your platoon get wiped out? Oh well, we had to stop one Mohammed had a bit of a prayer. I'm sorry, it cost us an entire platoon. Like that would happen. Your squad would not stop, so somebody can do that. Yeah. I mean, what's he going to do? Is he going to do that in the middle of a firefight?
I don't think they do that. If they were in the middle of a fight, I don't even know that they would do that on their side. I'm not sure how they operate. With
depending on who the enemy was, would the guy not turn around and gun down his own?
Well, let's put it like this: he would, if he was in my platoon, he'd be in front of me at all times. At all times.
You'd be foolish to have it any other way, wouldn't you?
But the thing is, it's sad because but why? I mean, it's like every other military one leads with women. Why? Because I'm not being sexist, okay? But women aren't capable of carrying the same load as a man.
No, it's just biology, bro. It
biology.
used to be.
Biology. Well, I mean, I know biology is a very, very touchy subject nowadays. Ooh, biology. Another one of those hot topics. But the simple truth of the matter is they want 40% of the British Army to be made up with women, which is impossible.
Why? What's the point?
Even if they could, that's not a. I mean,
it's impossible. And to be fair, let's be brutally honest. Most of the time, a good percentage of that are going to be off pregnant because that's going to happen. You know, biology.
You need to bring in a HR department, wouldn't you, to deal with all the sexual harassment kind of cases being
it'd be rampant. It'd be rampant. I mean, let's be honest. When I was in, if a woman came in, she was known as an officer's bed mat. There you go. But the thing is, don't get me wrong. When I was in there, I met loads of really, really good, fit, strong, powerful women who were awesome, absolutely awesome. They were, and full credit to them. But in reality, it's just, they want 20% ethnic minorities. It's impossible. There isn't even a 20% pool to come from. So where are you going to get these people?
Import it. You import it.
You import it. You don't get. But the thing is, it's now known quite freely that for every soldier that joins, 3 are leaving. For everyone that
similar
joins,
over here,
3 are leaving. So you're not even replacing. And the thing is, those who are leaving are your experienced soldiers. The guys that when the poo hits the fan are the ones that are going to keep a cool head and hopefully going to get you through the end of it, out of the other end alive. And you're losing so much experience and so much knowledge. For what?
We talked about that on another stream about how it's like okay, and this is going to lead into something else I was trying to remember to say too. So both of our countries are talking about. America is also proposing bills to give people citizenship for serving in the military. And I remember what Rome did. They recruited barbarians, and that was at the end of their empire.
Yeah, it worked really well for the Romans.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what we're both going to be doing,
aren't they? They're just flooding Europe with their own barbarians.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, shout out to the chat. We appreciate everybody watching. This is great. We certainly appreciate
people watching us on X.
Yeah, and on X and on YouTube. Go ahead, Joe.
So, if you had control over the British military today, what would be the thing that, like, the first thing you do to fix the situation?
Get rid of every idiot at the top and start again. Get rid of, because at the moment the senior ranks are that's where the problem is. Strip out all the senior ranks, Go and find the decent soldiers who've got good combat record, good soldiering record. Promote them. That's how you solve it.
You
And
need to
then
bring back the ones you let go because of the jab
Exactly.
too. So does ours.
and then you run a campaign that says join the army and show people what the army is actually about.
Hmm.
So when I walked into the recruitment office, he was like, "What do you want to do?" And I said, "I want to be a soldier." And he said, "Where would you like to be?" I said, "Well, I don't know." He said, "Would you like to go in tanks?" I went, "Well, tanks any good?" He said, "Well, to be fair, in combat, you'd last about a minute." I said, "So which is the one with the highest survival rate?" "Infantry." "That's what I'm doing." And I went in. And that was it. That was my prep. Yeah. You turn up. I was a heavy metal fan. I had hair down to my arse. First thing that went was my hair that was no longer down to my arse. Things like, and it was look, when I joined, it was brutal, absolutely brutal. But that's what you need. I mean, there's a chart now in the British Army, which there's a list of things that people are to look for. And if you see that, you're to report them because they're a right-wing sympathizer. To be honest, what you need in your army are selfish assholes. That's what you need. You need people who are prepared to go and do stuff that no one else wants to do.
Yeah.
And
Well-
at the moment, that's what we're not employing. We're getting people who seem to think it's, I don't know, a holiday camp.
It's a
And
game,
it's
isn't it? It's fun.
It's a game. It's a game.
It's Call of Duty.
Yeah, exactly. It's Call of Duty, except the problem is you don't get a regen. You don't start back at the spawn point. Yeah. When you get hit, you fall apart into little pieces. And
Like
that's
Legos.
Yeah, like Lego. You can't even be rebuilt. You know what I mean?
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's like, I mean, I've got, for me, I've got 7 kids in total. My youngest is 9, which was the little girl you saw, and my eldest is 29. And my eldest couple of, I want to join the army. I'm like, just don't.
Oh
I mean,
yeah, I used to would when my kids were first born. I would have said that.
Not now.
Not now.
Nah.
No, that
I
was going
know.
to be something I was going to ask you guys about. Think about this, and I'm pretty sure that the UK and England were like America in that not too long ago we were supposed to love ourselves and have pride in our country, right? So you'd have a reason to
That's all
want,
down the toilet, isn't it?
like you'd want.
That's how-
I want to serve something, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
now, how do they expect people to sign up for a country to serve and die for that you've been told to hate your whole life and that all
Because
they've
the
ever
people
done is
signing
wrong?
up in the UK, Brandon, don't give a shit about the UK.
Exactly. And then you replace the army with people who don't mind doing stuff to their own people, and that's where you are.
You know, in my opinion, as far as America goes, I think there are a lot of higher ups that are purposely, deliberately trying to destabilize the country.
Mhm.
That's what they're doing with the military. Is that how you? What was
Was
that?
it Levine?
The what?
Levine, the
Admiral
general,
Levine.
or-
Admiral Levine.
Oh yeah,
Levine,
that's
sorry.
probably part of it. Yeah, I would assume maybe that's a little bit of a part of it.
It's so hot.
And but even people above them who are really pulling the strings, I think there's obviously an agenda to destabilize the country. Obviously, you can see it in Hollywood. But
Absolutely.
I was wondering, like, Gobster, like, is that how
Yeah.
you feel, or do you think it's like just people being naive, or do you think it's actually like a ploy
on
to
purpose.
destabilize?
It's on purpose, 100% on purpose.
So how do you
See-
fix that? How do you fix that if they're purposely trying to take it down? Like, nothing you say is going to convince them to do it the right way. You can't say, "Oh, point out all their mistakes." They're never going to listen because they have their own agenda. They know what they're doing. It's like Brandon
Yeah.
said earlier: the people at the top are people who have a lot of money with low IQs. I actually
Yeah.
think there are people with a lot of money who have high IQs and really effed up morals. These people
Yeah,
know
sociopaths.
they know what they're doing. You know, probably the reason is they have so much money. They realize, there's no more joy they can get out of life. So they become like messed up, and that's probably
Mhm.
part of the reason they get all crazy. But I think these
Yeah.
people, they obviously know what they're doing. So how do you fix that? I feel like you have to deliberately fight against it.
Well, I mean, I don't know whether anyone's seen one of the other YouTube channels that I watch is Reverend Simon Sideways. You want to go and listen to him, and he did one today, and he said it quite succinctly, and I thought it was spot on. And he actually said, if you think you've got a problem with that certain religion, you wait till Whitey wakes up, because when we come for you, we're going to come for every single one of you because you've messed us up. And that's how it. This is the other frightening thing. The only solution to this you can see is going to be open rebellion.
Mhm.
And when that happens, it's going to be messy.
And United Kingdom and King Charles, just so you know, Gobster is not advocating rebellion in your country.
No,
We're
God,
talking
no.
about theoretical outcomes.
no.
In Minecraft.
in
Yeah.
Minecraft. Yeah. So that's the thing is like I've said that to the fellas before. It's like where else do we go? There ain't nowhere else to go but a war, if you want to call it that.
And the thing is, I mean, I talk to people on, on other streams and other chats, and they're saying, oh, some of them, oh yeah, we'll have. Look, I've seen combat firsthand. You don't want it. Trust me, seriously, you don't want to see that crap. But they're forcing us into a situation where it's. I am so anti-violence. It's unreal. Yeah, I mean, my job in the army, I was a combat medic. Yeah, so my job was to get shot at and then go and patch people up, no matter what side they were. That was my job. So but the thing is, if you're forcing people to have they are making us have one option, and are they doing that deliberately? Are they pushing us because that's what they want? They want us to rise so then they can do what they need to do.
I think that's
Probably.
for sure what they're doing in our country, Joe. No doubt.
Oh,
They
yeah.
want somebody to pop off and do something stupid where they can label like MAGA, like a terrorist group or something like that. That's what they're pushing for.
You
But
know,
yeah, there's not a lot of options out of it. Go ahead, Joe.
Mhm. You know, it reminds me of the phrase like, was it weak or strong men create good times and good times create weak men? And I think part of the reason you were saying, like, you kind of reminding me of Gobster is like part of the reason the population isn't fighting back. I feel like is because they don't know the reality of war, right? They don't know what it is. They don't know. So it's like people talk about World War III. Putin just said he would nuke a bunch of different places. People are like, oh, I could never fathom that because we have this normalcy bias, right?
Yeah.
We're like, oh, our lives are just going to be the same way they are. We are, what's the term? We are like proper now in society. We're not cavemen anymore. We're modern. But no, if we allow these countries to fall apart, there's going to be nobody left to save us. There's going to be absolutely nobody to save us.
Nobody coming.
No.
I mean,
did we look at Yvette's comments? Sorry, guys, I'm just going to disappear.
Yeah.
So, the sooner Khan is outed from London, the better. London is no longer safe for anyone. It's safe for certain people, isn't it? To be fair,
and he's not going to get
For
out.
white people.
And he's not going to get out because he has his vote
Entrenched.
built in. He's entrenched. He's imported his vote. He'll get.
Yeah.
He's way ahead in the. He's way ahead in the. He's never going to go out. He's never going to go out. And as much as I don't like many politicians, the things that Lee Anderson said was correct, even though it wasn't racist and it wasn't a personal attack. He was just stating facts. It's just. I mean, the thing is, I mean, I got this. I mean, just in case, there's my HM Armed Forces veteran pass. Just in case people think I'm bullshitting about being in the forces, because I know some people do.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
And I don't have to prove anything to anyone, but just in case. Now, when I got that through the post, when I used to wear that hackle on my hat, I was the proudest man in the world. I would do anything for my country, literally anything for my country. And that's why the Union flag is on the bottom of my thing. And my Union flag is because it's my country, and I am proud of that flag. But I'm not proud of how I'm leaving the country for my future generations. And I'm one voice, and there are others saying it, but it's like I have to be careful what I say in the video, because if I'm not, it's gone. Because we are censored already. We are censored already. And then when we get the leader of opposition, Keir Starmer, deliberately attacking Tommy Robinson at PMQs, which is purposely going to, I mean, to call anyone who dares question knuckle-dragging racists.
I can't stand that guy. We watched a couple of clips.
That was again pouring petrol. That's pouring petrol on this fire. They're just constantly stoking it. They say there's no such thing as a no-go area, but we need £31 million for extra security.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
and
really?
the people at the top will be protected.
Yeah, because what they say is they don't want protection from the people causing the no-go areas. They want protection from the people such as us that are kind of saying this horrible, naughty stuff.
I mean, when
eventually people will be protesting.
Well, when Lindsay Hoyle said that, and he come out and he said, because he caused all that problem in Terry, and said, well, I need to protect our MPs from white supremacists. I was like, what the hell did we do?
Got it the wrong way around, my brother.
And yeah, but even then, even when they can see the actual problem is staring them in the face, they ignore it. And it's not.
That's
I mean,
what kills me.
I mean, Harriet Harman stood up in there and said, I think we should all work from home. The second our politicians going home, society collapses. And the problem is when society collapses, it opens a vacuum. And the worry is who's going to fill that vacuum, because we do need a swing back, but we don't want to go too far the other way either.
Yes. You're saying the same things I'm always saying. Yeah.
Because somebody said, "Oh yeah, this." I said, "Yeah, this was happening in Germany. There was a vacuum, and God, did it swing the wrong way? Because it can go to. There are real, genuine far right people, and we don't want them either. Yeah, why can't we?
Yeah, I could see in this country like a right wing Christian sort of thing, or you know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to live under puritanical shit, you know.
I mean, Reverend Sideways said this true is the fact that here in the UK, we abandon Christianity. We're a Christian country, and on a whole, we abandon Christianity.
America did.
So Islam just filled the vacuum.
Yeah.
As soon as you leave a vacuum. Someone's going to suck in. Now, are we ever going to see anything change? I don't know. I genuinely don't know. And it's
so do you think did Christianity leave, or was it pushed out?
Pushed out.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's punished. It was punished just the same as you guys are being punished.
There's something there to replace it.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'll say I'm an atheist. I'm an atheist, but there's no such thing as an atheist in a foxhole. So, yeah, when Ned's coming the other way, everybody suddenly believes in God. Let's be honest. Yeah, because you need something.
Yeah, we're essentially, well, I mean...
Yeah, we are a godless society. We are.
America's not too far behind.
Yeah, but we're not, because there is another God coming in, and it's a God that only accepts people to follow that God.
And
so, I mean,
yeah,
because when I put comments in about the magic, the big eye, as I call it, people are going, "Oh, what you mean like Christianity?" Yeah, but we left Christianity back in the Middle Ages. You lot have just carried on bringing it on like now. And I was explaining to the wife, because obviously a lot of people don't understand. They don't understand. They don't. I said, look, if it becomes Sharia law, love, you won't be able to dance. You won't be able to listen to music. You will not be able to go to school. You will not be able to go to work. You've got to wear something on your head. You will do exactly as I say. You will have to accept the fact that I will have 4 other wives. Yeah. If you blaspheme, I'm allowed to drag you out in the street and beat you to death, and nothing's going to happen to me. And she looked at me and she went, "Really?" I said, "Yes."
Yeah.
Really.
They shared on X all the time.
It's on there. You see it on the time. Yeah. If I'm sitting here and I see a woman out there, I'm allowed who's not wearing a hijab, I'm allowed to go out and stone her to death. And there's nothing you can do about it. Oh, and if I see a 7-year-old child that I like the look of, I can make her my bride. And that's absolutely fine.
Yeah, we've seen them trying to pick people right off the street, or like you know, they want to go up and pinch a girl or slap her on the butt or say, "Come with me," or whatever. When they say no, they hit them.
Oh, well, I mean, we've had Rotherham. We've had our grooming gangs, you know, where hundreds and hundreds of girls and the police and the local council turned a blind eye because they were scared of being called racist. Yeah. And once that starts,
you're knackered.
We're knackered. Our parliament.
We got thousands of kids coming through our southern border. They don't know where the hell they're ending up.
No,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
we know where they're ending up.
Well,
yeah, exactly. But I'm saying like it's all like the same elite people. Yeah, the same elite people allowing this sick shit. You know what I'm saying? Whether they're here in England or wherever. And go ahead.
If ask anybody, if any of you could snap your fingers and just erase all the woke elites from every country in the world, but the consequence of that is that Jodie Whittaker has to be immortalized in AI, and she has to play the Doctor for the next 100 years. Do you guys snap your fingers?
No.
It's not worth the risk.
I want all those things, but I want to go about it the right way, Joe.
Yeah.
Damn now, there's a dilemma. Oh, that's a tough one.
Like, you got all
those even if you got rid of them, there's always someone else wanting to fill that void, like Gobster said. There's always someone else. You get rid of Klaus Schwab, there's another Klaus.
Well, it's like the religion, the new religion now has 25% of like my kids' generation identifying as something. You know what I'm saying? So that I feel like that's one of the things that filled that void too. And also,
that's done on purpose. That's done on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Because what they want to do is make sure the indigenous people are that confused they don't breed.
Yeah,
because
and then they promote certain behaviors, in my opinion. Go ahead.
Yeah, what you say? It's reducing carbon, isn't it? It's all relative. It's all connected.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Now watch this. This is so it's trickling down, but you know, we're talking about elites and people all the way at the top, but the fact of the matter is there's the extreme on the other end of that, like of say like a emperor is a parent. And I don't know that, and I always say I feel like I fall short too, so I'm not being a hypocrite. It's like I know there's things I could do better, but I'm going to show you something I damn sure ain't doing with my kid in public. I've got 2 parents of the week this week. I could not decide. So this is the first one. This is in Wendy's in America somewhere, obviously. but yeah, this is like one of our fast food joints.
Somebody give me the number. Who your general manager? Bitch, like I said, every time I come in here, you fucking yelling at somebody. Bitch, I come here every day for my lunch break. Eat me, bitch.
She seems nice.
You say that shit walking away, you.
I see why she's got a kid, because she's so attractive. This is look, she's got her boy like around his neck there, but I think she's going to start tearing up some stuff, and this is actually not that uncommon anymore.
No accountability. That's what
Well,
happens.
that's the other thing. What does it matter? You're probably going to get a damn no money bail. Okay, yeah. Not the straws and the ketchup.
She looks like she has an addiction of some kind.
I believe that extreme behavior could easily be because of
You can
something
see it
like
in her
that.
face when her face turns around. It's
Yeah, and she might even be high at that moment. That or she ain't got none, and that's got her real pissed off.
Poor kid, man.
what chance of these kids got?
Not much. That kid would have to have some other people come up in his life to be there and watch out for him and help him, and he'd also have the inner want and drive to have a good life.
This is what you're seeing in public, by the way. She's doing this in public. What is she like in
All I wanted to
private?
do was just order some food. Look what I got to go through.
What I was
This
going
is
to say
crazy.
is,
This is
so
totally
the kid has
crazy.
got the parent being, with this kind of behavior, but then the kid is also going to get people saying, "Do you know what? This is white people's fault. They did all this."
Yeah,
You've
there
got
you go.
these two. No wonder these kids are messed up. They've got violent, unfit to be parents, and then they've got these assholes behind them saying, "Do you know what? This is all these people's fault. It's nothing to do with your shitty parents or shitty drugs. It's all their fault."
I mean, for me, it's always whenever I see things like that, I always defer to the great Denzel Washington when he goes. The problem is, where are the dads?
Right, exactly. He's
Where
real
are the
smart
dads?
about that. He's like, where are their dads? Where are their parents? Why are you
I
blaming
mean-
other
Yeah.
people?
Denzel Washington is an amazing man. He genuinely is. He's so switched on to everything. But he's right. He said that you don't lock 6-year-old kids up, do you? So where are the dads? And it's true, And yeah, she clearly she was on something. You could see it all over her face. But the thing is, it's like there's no discipline. There's no consequences for any actions anymore.
Well, you used to could rely on the law at least a little
They're too
enough for
scared, aren't they?
society
You've
to
already said,
function.
Brandon.
Yeah,
Huh?
but
They're too
since
scared. You've already said.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They're scared to death, man. They'll
So-
let somebody kill them almost.
You could argue that this all goes back to dads, really. Like they honestly, like I feel like a lot of times we have this Andrew Tate culture. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Andrew Tate. It might be a
I am.
generational gap here, but you have this sort of example of a void.
He's
being
half theirs,
created.
half ours.
Yeah, exactly. You have a void that Gobster was talking about, and it's being filled by people who are now obsessing over being like super masculine, super controlling. And I think this is a void that was created because men wouldn't step in, by and large, in the past into their position of having some like responsibility and some accountability instead of abandoning their families.
True.
You know what I mean? So I feel like that's kind of where I feel like most societies are built off the backs of strong men and women,
And
But-
family.
but in family, the family is the most
You
important
got
thing. But
something to
the
care
family-
about.
But that's the thing. It's built on family. But what happens when the dad leaves? The family's gone. It's
Yeah.
hit with a blow that you can hardly ever recuperate from. So that's a lot of problems have started there, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I also want to say that like woke people are using a lot of these abused people, like that kid in the video, talking about how they're going to use him to blame white people. Like that's kind of their motto, is they use hurt people and abuse people as political props to push their agenda. They don't care about these people. They don't care about these people who are disenfranchised at all. You're kidding yourself if you believe that. They genuinely just use them as a prop. And as soon as they become not important anymore, you're thrown to the side. It's
They can go
about
to Canada, can't they?
oh yeah.
I mean, and then of course you have the fact that these young kids, like that little kid there, you can see him in a gang because gang becomes family.
Yeah, because he's
fella.
told it's not his fault; it's someone else's
Not
fault.
your fault.
Well, but they also glorify that shit in music and movies.
It's true. It's. I mean, obviously we don't have firearms in this. Well, we don't have
Right,
firearms
right.
except for the bad people.
Like we don't
Thanks,
have
man.
drugs, right? Yeah, you can get them if you need them. Yeah, if you want them.
Yeah. I mean, it's like I always say to anyone in America, the warning sign is you can ban all the guns you like we did. So now we're just stabbing everybody to death.
Yep.
Exactly.
But there's always going to be a weapon. The difference is if you're armed, a good man with a gun will always stop a bad man with a gun. A good man with a knife, unless he's really good with it, no good to no one.
Crocodile Dundee, perhaps.
Right.
Maybe.
Exactly.
Yeah, this is a knife. But even then,
It's a
you can
knife.
have a knife like that, but you got to be good with it. I mean, let's be honest. You know, it's. I mean, it's like here. I don't know whether Tuna's heard about this. Is the fact that here in the police have told us that we should now start seriously considering maybe locking away our kitchen knives at night because burglars no longer carry
It
knives.
doesn't surprise me.
Because
oh my God.
burglars have learned not to carry knives while they're out on the street. So if they get stopped by the police, they've done nothing. And the very first thing they do when they break into your house is go and get your kitchen knives so they can stab you. And one of my cousins, her house got broke into. They fortunately didn't get anything, but what was stolen was 3 kitchen knives, and they'd actually picked kitchen knives up and they were using them. They were prepared to use them.
Yeah.
But they know if they don't carry them, if they're not carrying them outside, when they get stopped, if they get stopped by the old bill, which is a rarity because there's not enough of them in the country anymore, when they get searched, they've got nothing. So the
The
police
thing
have
is,
to find them.
even if you retaliate and you do something,
Oh,
it's
you're in
your
trouble.
fault and you're
Yeah.
going to be arrested.
Yeah, you could booby trap it, and they'd charge you with hurting the guy.
Oh, well,
You know?
it's like if here, if you want to put barbed wire on your fence, you're breaking the law. Unless
Really?
it's
Yeah.
oh yeah, it has to be 1 foot inside your property. If it's
Shit.
actually on the fence, you're committing a crime.
Hmm. That's
And
weird.
here in the UK, if you hit a burglar, you are going to get arrested.
Wow.
You are going to get arrested.
So,
That's
ladies
Same
and
with
gentlemen,
self-defense.
the trick is to make sure nobody finds out ever.
Although
Yeah,
to be fair, it was way before COVID. Where I live, it was late at night, and there's a guy who lives next door to me, and he got a rather nice BMW, and it was parked outside my house because he couldn't get on the drive. And at 2:00 in the morning, there was a whole gang of kids, and they were discussing how they were going to break into my house to get the keys to the Beamer. It's not mine.
Shit.
Now I heard them, obviously, told the missus because we had kids in the house, phone the police, tell them we've got children, explain the situation, but make sure you emphasize that we got children in the house because they'll turn up for that. And when they came, I opened the gate and I was stood there with a baseball bat. And the copper looked at me and he went, I see one of them was going to have a nasty fall, sir. I said, yes, he was going to slip. It's a very dangerous
Hell
way.
yeah.
But that was coppers then. Nowadays, no chance. I'd been arrested. I would be arrested with a weapon.
They might
within
uncuff him and take you instead.
Pretty
I
much,
mean,
yeah. Like Brad says, basically just bend over and take it.
Yeah.
I would be surprised if the criminals just unionize at this point, start protesting for equal rights. Because they clearly are getting away with
They
quite a
got more
bit.
than we do at this point. I mean, they're disincentivizing being a good Samaritan and even defending your own home and your family. You know, it's pretty
mean, when-
crazy.
Here in the UK, when the police say don't take your car keys to bed, leave them on the side so they can get them. That's what we're being told. now.
That's awful, man.
Because they will come looking for the keys and they will get the keys. So you're actually told to leave your keys downstairs because that's what they're probably after.
Come to
And you-
America, Gobster. We need you. We need people like you in this country.
No,
No, I
kidding.
think I'm here and all.
Lobster is like an American like trapped in a British person's body.
I'm in the wrong place. I was born in the wrong country. I'll
You
be
were born
honest.
in the wrong country.
Born in the wrong country.
That's what I've been sitting here thinking. I was like,
Identifies
yeah, he's like one of us. He's wearing a Brit skin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
The thing is,
that's
we
where we
need more
sit.
Yeah, but that's what the thing is. We need more people like this in the UK, and I think
Mhm.
we're getting to the stage now where people have literally had enough, and that's why
Yeah.
people are now saying things, and that's why people are saying, "No, you can't do that. That's not right," and that's where they're panicking now. And they call anyone who dares say anything against anything, you're far right. I'm actually not far right. If you were going my politics, I would say I'm centre right at best. But there's no
Yeah,
such thing as
same.
centre parties.
Right.
You're either left wing or you're the enemy. It's as simple as that. Yeah, I mean, I know guys on Twitter who are very liberal in their beliefs, but
Mhm.
they're even targeted as far right because they dare question. And like, well, why is the world suddenly gone? I mean, I don't know when I fell asleep and woke up in upside down world, but I feel like I'm in upside down world because none of it makes any sense anymore. Where did common sense go? I mean, it's like when I'm having arguments, I'll say, okay, we'll agree to disagree. You can't do that.
Common
Why
sense has
not?
been replaced by pronouns.
Right.
Pronouns, and that everybody's right and you're wrong.
Yeah.
No one's wrong. You know, it's everybody else's fault. I see it all the time where everybody else gets blamed for something. If you make a screw up, it's never your fault. It's always somebody else's. Always somebody else's
Yeah.
fault.
And that destroys a person too. If you live like that, where everything is, you never take accountability. It's not just bad for everyone else, but it destroys your life. That's why these people are so they're self-hating. They're not
Yeah.
satisfied with their own existence. So they have to keep pretending to be something that they're not because they've just been pushed to this limit of just being like a shallow, empty human being. But I still am kind of hopeful because I think, like you were just saying, Gobster, there's a lot of people are speaking up now, especially in the last 3 years. Like a lot of people are saying stuff, and some people would say that the government's silencing people, going crazy ham on silencing people now more than ever is an example of like, oh no, they're really taking over now. But I would say it's sort of like this tyranny is dying breaths. It's like their last ditch effort to sort of do something. It could be a good sign that they're trying to pull out this stuff because I don't think they're going to get away with it. And then once the people have successfully pushed past this next level of tyranny of online censorship, then there could be a gold at the end of the rainbow, if you know what I mean. Like we could be in a better place. I don't know. Maybe I'm being a little optimistic, but I would hope so.
Yeah, there's a possible. I mean, that's why here in the UK, our traditional place where we used to go for a chat was the pub, the local pub, and now they're closing them hand over fist over and over again. I mean, round by me, there used to be in an area of about a mile, there'd be 11 pubs. There's now 2.
Why is that?
Because all good rebellions start in a pub, because they can't monitor you in a pub, they can't see what you're saying, they can't monitor you. You know, all. If you go back through the history of the British Isles, when we've had,
that's why we're free, is because guys sitting around drinking, getting pissed at the.
But that I mean, that was part. I still maintain that was part of the reason why COVID was what it was. It locked down because if you lock down, you can't get people to talk, and the only place they can talk is here. And when it's on here, we can listen in. That's what I mean.
I never thought about it that way before. That's crazy.
I agree with that completely. That's how it is.
Here in the UK, our hospitality industry has been completely almost destroyed because that's where we always used to get to. I mean, the local pub up by me before COVID, on a Friday night, it was standing room only, and that's a local pub. Now it's about 20 people in there, and that's the communication that they've stopped. They've stopped the personal face-to-face talking, where you can talk about rebellion. No one's going to listen to you. Where you can have a laugh, where you can discuss things, and no one's listening in. Yeah, and that's why they've destroyed. That's why they've destroyed the. What hold on. What do you want, love? Sorry, my little one's talking to me. What do you want?
Oh, you're right.
What? When I finish, I'll finish. You'll leave. You'll be fine.
It's true. Yeah, it's true, isn't it?
Yeah, you gotta go to bed.
Shout out to the chat, everybody. We really appreciate you
yeah.
coming and watching.
I was having a social chat with the little.
Make sure you hit that subscribe button. I've got to at least
Absolutely.
get one new subscriber today, or I might cry.
Oh, come on, everybody subscribe. You've got to subscribe to this. It's an awesome channel.
Please.
Yes, it's an awesome channel.
To your point, Gobster, like 1984 kind of has a similar theory of what's going on. Like, everyone talks about that, but they monitor everybody so that they can see everything that's going on. But also another part of that book is that you did have these face-to-face conversations, but the person you're communicating with would betray you. So that's sort of a risk too. It's like, if even these days, it's like, I don't know if we've reached that point yet, but exactly, I turn them against the parents. It's exactly what they
start
did.
the kids for that. Yeah.
But I mean, you know they will actually have finally succeeded when you go into a bar and the guy you're talking to turns you in. That's when
Well-
you're really screwed, because then then you can't escape it.
Well, even when COVID, Tuna will back me up, they had a campaign for you to snitch on your neighbours.
Yes. Yep.
I heard about
Yes.
that.
Are you
yeah.
serious?
No, if you see your neighbour breaking the rules, here's the free phone line to snitch on them.
Australia and New
Didn't even
Zealand did the
the
same
US have
thing, I
that?
believe.
I'm sure. Sure, there
Yeah,
was
we-
a US equivalent.
I'm sure there was. It's just
But yeah,
there's
Gob's absolutely right.
it
Absolutely
depends.
hysterical.
We're so
mean,
much bigger that you got pockets of crazy, a little bit of insanity. So it's different in different states.
This
I
is
I didn't have
Sorry,
a
go
problem on my I didn't have a problem on my streak, so I went round and knocked on everybody's door. And I said, if I find out you've snitched on me, I swear to God, you're never going to have a pane of glass left in your windows ever.
Yeah, I'd be pissed.
But the thing is,
Cruel-
our street, we all broke the rules any case, so none of us give
Yeah.
monkeys.
So Cruel says I've never read 1984. That's all right. You're living through it, man. You already know the
Yeah,
story.
yeah.
Literally, don't bother with the book. You're living the live action
True.
movie.
Yeah, exactly. The remake.
There is a movie with John Hurt from 1984. That
Brilliant.
year they made it. It was on in America. It was on Amazon Prime. I don't know where it would be, but I encourage you, if you don't want to read the book. Now, the best is
The
gonna
book
be
is good.
book.
Read it.
Yeah, the book you need to, but go watch the movie first and then read the book. So then that's what I like to do, because then it's like you're getting special features and extras, because whenever you read the book first and go to the movie, there's always less. You know what I'm saying? You're always looking for things.
You
if
know,
you're a nerd.
another bad thing about telling people to snitch on each other is that you're cultivating a society that hates their neighbors. There's no camaraderie anymore, and it's like everyone's reliant on daddy government. That's your only friend, and then everybody else is sort of like, not your friend. So that's a loveless country.
I don't know about you, Tuna, but how many people in your street do you know?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, to be fair, we moved about 6 months ago. But no, it wouldn't have been the same. I mean, primarily because I hate people anyway. So
Yeah, they are annoying. Yeah, but I mean, when I moved in here, the house I'm in now with the wife, the very first thing I did when I moved in is I went down and knocked on the door of every house on my little road and introduced myself.
That's awesome.
That's
So
pretty
do I.
much what I did when my wife had the house that we have now. She had before we got together, and I had to go up and shake everybody's hand and everything, just because they're my neighbors now. I don't want them to have to feel they don't have to worry about me, and I wouldn't mind knowing that I ain't got to worry about them.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I've got just over the road, I've got two elderly ladies, and I check on them every 2 days.
There's this
And-
lady Gobster down the street that if like something happens or if she needs like I think we loaned her a refrigerator or something, but she calls us, and I don't mind doing anything, because I think one of the worst things in the world would be not to have anybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't want anyone to be alone.
Hey,
I
DDM.
genuinely, and it's like they've both got my phone number any time of the day or night. Pick up that phone, give me a ring. I don't care if it's 3 o'clock in the morning. If you need me, you phone me and I'll be there, because that's what we should do. We should look after
Exactly.
each
If
other.
you're in a situation like us, but especially if you got elderly people in your neighborhood,
Yeah.
you need to be going out of their way. You need to be opening doors. You need to be offering to do shit for them. That's what I do everywhere I go. So, and I'm not just saying that, but I mean, that's what you need to do.
I don't mind holding the door open for old people, but when it's the young generation, especially if it's a woman now, I'll get shouted at for like I can't
I
open the door.
had one look at me crazy earlier. It's funny you said that, man. That's coincidental as shit.
Don't you think I can't hold the door open myself?
It
No,
wa-
it's called manners. I know it's an alien concept nowadays, but it's called being nice. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I feel like I hold the door for everybody. It's not just women. So I
hold the door. If there's somebody there, I'll hold
they're
the
the
door.
ones taking it the wrong way. They're the ones
I
making
know.
it into a thing.
I was in a neighborhood leaving a little shop that's like on the side street. And as I was getting ready to walk out, I saw somebody pull up and a lady get out. So I just stood there and held the door open until she came in and went through. And she looked at me like I was about to beat her over the head and take her home with me. And I looked at her and she just looked at me so funny. I said, "Ma'am, there's still a gentleman or two out here. And I wanted to say, don't mean they want to sleep with you. You know what I'm saying?"
My favorite one is, I don't know, when you hold the door open, they walk past, and I'll go, the word you're looking for is thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not the doorman. I'm not employed by the company to hold the door open, but bit of manners. I mean, I teach my kids manners. Yeah, manners are important.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
definitely.
No, sir. Yeah.
100%.
Yes, sir, no, sir. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Thank you. Please.
I was
You
just
know.
having another of those conversations with one of my kids the other day. Especially, I'm always worried about them embarrassing me, like the way they act when they're out of my sight, like at a girl, not just school. School's one thing, but like he's got a little girlfriend that he goes and sees, and I'm like, man, I hope and I always tell him like I'd be mortified if I found out you weren't respectful to her parents and said yes sir, no sir, and shit. Hey, Herman, Kroll, Birab, and DDM Pictures, Sheila's .to. We really appreciate you guys so much.
Yeah, thank you.
So we're winding down now, guys. It's all about over. Everybody's old and needs to go to sleep. So I got one last thing to go over. But first, Gobster, I would very much love for you to come hang out with us again, man. As a matter of fact, we got somebody coming on next week. But what I was thinking, I'm about to show something, and I'm trying to talk the guys into watching something and coming back and discussing it with me.
I'm not watching your dirty movies.
And,
no.
yeah.
Oh, that I'm not doing that, especially with certain things.
No, I'm
No.
sure. Hey, if you guys you haven't lived till
you.
you see Gobster Does Birmingham, it's the best Triple X movie ever made.
Yeah, and it ain't sexual. It's just blood and guts.
Yeah, it's all military outfits and stuff. Oh, DDM says she's going to go watch Dune 2 tonight. I need to go see it. I really do, but I just don't really like going to the theater anymore. I mean, I will eventually, but I have to sit down and watch the first one again. I've seen it, but I'd have to watch it again. But I do want to see it. Probably more than likely what'll happen is we will I'll probably watch them both streaming when it comes out. And then also everybody watching, we're I'm kicking around some ideas. We're still working this all out, what we're doing. Appreciate you watching. Welcome to the Culture Council. And make sure you sub to everybody. Diabolical Tuna on X. He's at diabolical_tuna. You got Joe Benoli at Joe Benoli YT.
You too.
And then Gobster is actually GOBS3ER, but I'll throw these up. Go over and sub to them on X. And if you haven't found their channels on YouTube, there'll be links, or you can look them up under those same names.
I have put a link in the comments. It's not in the description for some reason. But I can't see it on the chat, so I don't know if the chat can see it. But I have put a comment.
Okay. I can't see it either. I have to look. But yeah, we'll make sure the word gets out, because you guys need to go over and subscribe to Gobster. You need to subscribe to Diabolical Tuna and Mr. Joe Benoli. Please. And please, God, validate my existence with the internet stuff. Subscribe to my channel so that listen. I'm on a quest to embarrass the shit out of my kids, and if you want to help me do that, you got to hit that, smash that like button, and subscribe and share. But if you want to help me embarrass the shit out of my wife and my kids, help us. Help you.
I can't say that because my son is just hearing this thing. He's actually got more subs than me.
Oh man!
Oh my gosh!
He's crapped all over me.
That's awesome. Good for him, man. Hell yeah!
He hit 1,000 about 3 weeks ago.
So, where do you land on comic books, Gobster? You ever read any comics?
No. I've never been a comic book guy, to be fair.
But you do you like superhero movies and like everybody else,
movies and science fiction, everything like that. Yeah, I love all that sort of stuff.
So this is what I'm thinking, guys, and I'm gonna present to you like every week, or what I want to do is like a spotlight or a focus on a real or fictional character, and then like watch a movie that's related to them, and then come back and discuss it. And then eventually, man, like me and Tuna have talked about like doing like watch alongs and stuff. Like I'm really ready to do some stuff like that. And so if it can be set up where we can do it all at the same time, we could just get it on StreamYard.
It's not as difficult as you think it is. It's really not.
So well, no, I'm saying like if you guys when I get to the movie I want to watch and a little bit more of the minutia, I'm saying like we can if we were able to set it up like one night where you say, hey, I'm not doing anything for a couple hours, are you busy? And I say no. It's like, okay, well, I'll watch it with you, we'll just stream it off, so. But anyway, this week's and I don't have any bumpers yet. I gotta get some bumpers. Somebody buy me some bumpers. That show I was on's got me wanting bumpers on the Scent Sphere. Yeah, next week we're having Brendan on from the Scent Sphere. They just hit 150 subs. My man's getting like, I know it doesn't sound like a lot to these big wigs and shit, but he does like 2 live streams on Doctor Who a week. He's getting like 500, 1,000 views. It was pretty cool. Had me on last Sunday talking about Cybermen, right, Gobster?
Yeah.
He messaged me. He said, man, it was like kind of last minute. Somebody fell through, I think. And he said, do you mind talking about the Cybermen? I said, shit, man, I just watched Tomb of the Cybermen for the first time and I just finished it. So yeah, but we're going to have him on next week. He's real nice. And then possibly, depending on what Gobster's doing, if in 2 weeks he wants to come back when Joe returns, that would be the shit too. Man, I like you, Gobster.
Thanks,
You're
mate.
pretty good.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been fun. If I can, I will. Yeah,
if you can, it's okay. But anyway, regardless, you'll definitely have to come back on with us because we
absolutely I've enjoyed it. It's been great. It's been absolutely brilliant, guys. It really has. Really enjoyed it. It's been an absolutely awesome stream. Been a privilege and an honor.
So to leave on a positive note, because that's one thing I hate leaving on a negative note. Nobody wants to come back. So let me set the stage for what we're going to watch, guys. Don't worry, I'm not going to take too long. So in the 80s, things got gritty. And let's see, I just was looking at this to see when it came out. So from February to June 1986, there was a 4-issue series called The Dark Knight Returns. Originally, it was just The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight Returns was only the title of the first issue, but kind of like, how Star Wars and Episode and all that, how that shit kind of stuck.
Yeah.
And so it's like that. So anyway, this is like a lot of what you've seen. You've seen Dark Knight Rises. You've probably seen different iterations of Batman, but this was one of the early gritty ass, things. Let's see. I want to show you guys a couple pics. Okay, this is Frank Miller. This is kind of what he looks like now. Anything you like about Daredevil is probably thanks to this man. The fact that Daredevil's Catholic, his Catholic guilt, Elektra, he created Elektra. He made Bullseye cool. He made the Kingpin a Daredevil villain. He had to ask permission, but he was a Spider-Man villain originally. So that's Frank. He created it. Let's cover issue 1, and it sold like gangbusters. God knows how many times they printed it. Issue 2, and to set the scene, Batman's 55 years old, and he's been retired for about 10 years. That's issue 3. That's Carrie Kelly. That's going to be the Robin, and then this is awesome ass cover to 4. So you also get a Superman versus Batman fight, which was like, I want to say one of the original ones, because it's been done to death now. But so, and this is in, all right. This is from Frank Miller. Like all kids, I disliked Robin, Miller says. It wasn't until I got my hands on Batman that I realized that Robin served a wonderful function. There's nothing like having a sidekick to make the hero look big.
Yeah.
So, and this basically Bruce Wayne, he's just living like as he actually living the life that he pretended to live. If you guys seen the Batman movies, you're familiar with that. I mean, Bruce Wayne is the act. Batman is really the real person in a psychological regard. So basically, like all this shit is happening. It's like now the crime. World War III is looming. You remember like the fears of war with Russia and all that stuff, especially you, Gobster. I know.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
it plays on that a lot. There's like a country that Russia and America are fighting over, and like a backdrop to this whole story. So anyway, he's been retired. Commissioner Gordon's retiring, and this shit, it just goes crazy. And Batman's watching TV one night drinking and decides he's going to come back. So he comes back. He's 55 years old. So it's like think Clint Eastwood, man. It's like a Clint Eastwood deal. Some of the cool scenes, I'm not going to run it all, but there's a part where he's got to rally a bunch of people on horseback because all the power has been knocked out by nukes. Superman, I wouldn't say he's the main villain in it, but Superman, like the government knows who he is. He's their boy, like the president, and the president in this, of course, is Reagan. And he basically can get Superman to do whatever. But so what they did was they shut the heroes down, and Batman has come back, and the government's telling Superman, talk to him, tell him to stop, or we're going to make you stop him. And that ain't going to happen. So they end up getting in a pretty epic fight. That's where let's see. Yeah, this is look at my stupid ass little gay table over here. this week's well, that's why this is something I'm really kind of passionate about, wanting to try to do once a week. Give people like one segment they can look forward to, or I mean, I don't know if they do, but one thing they know they'll see every week. And if they can see how passionate I am about stuff, maybe they'll hit that like and subscribe button.
Oh, yeah.
But so like, for instance, this is the armored Batman for fighting. This is the armor he puts on to fight Superman.
Yeah.
I'll give you a little hint. Green, or a little teaser. Green Arrow's only got one arm, but he has to do a little trick in the end. Superman shot his arm off or some shit when he wouldn't stop being a superhero. So this is the book. I've had the book. It just collects all 4 issues. I've actually never owned the originals, but I've had this same book for 20 years and read it over and over and over again. But it's a really cool comic. I would encourage anybody to go out and read that in year 1. But so anyway, guys, what I was thinking was if I could get y'all to, and like I said, if y'all don't have the service or whatever, we can link up one night and watch it. But I wanted to they did 2 movies, those DC animated films. It's set in its own world. Batman is voiced by RoboCop, Peter Weller. And this is the trailer for it's Dark Knight Returns Part 1 and Part 2. In America, it's on HBO Max. But this is the trailer. This is one I want you guys to watch and then come back and talk to me about it. But if you think in 2 weeks you can watch them both, I say watch them both.
Anniversary of the last sighting of the Batman.
All units, robbery in progress. Gotham City Trust.
They call us a gang. Only when they die by our hands will they know Gotham City belongs.
Those are the mutants. They're like the gang that's screwing everything up. They're like the people y'all have overrunning and visiting England right now, guys. And so this is one of the things, like if Batman would be rising up to like punch Antifa in the face at this point, I think. But if it was this same character.
Yeah, these are good movies. I've seen both of them. I do enjoy them.
Good.
Come out here and face me like a man.
That tank Batmobile.
I love the way Batman looks in this movie as well.
Yes, I love the old Batman look, the Dark Knight look. He's all big and thick and old, but muscular and still a badass. And the older I get, the more I can feel his pain when I reach it.
Karen Kelly. Robin.
Peter Weller does a good job as Batman too.
She's perfect.
These are scary times, Bruce. It's just random violence.
The war goes on. I will tear him limb from limb.
I can't remember who else. I'm sure there's a couple of non-actors that did voices in it.
I will show you who rules Gotham City. I'm not finished yet.
Careful about copyright.
Yeah, careful with copyright.
I get it.
I'm gonna end up having to cut something else, but yeah. So
He's young. He'll walk again.
so yeah, that's it. Joe, you're not going to be here next week, so I'm going to watch it again myself. And let's see, I'm going to watch it again myself. And if they copyright ding us again, I'll just cut it out, and that'll be the only thing I got to cut. And it's at the end. It'll be easy for me this time.
Yeah. Awesome.
That we'll call episode 7's like the secret lost episode from last week when I went too hard in the copyrighted material. But so yeah, I want you guys to watch it. And like I said, if you don't, I mean, we can always watch it together, but that might be harder. But just watch it within 2 weeks. If you feel like you'll have time to watch the second one, do that too, and then we'll talk about it. I'd just like to know what you guys think if you see the story. And Joe, you refresh yourself on it. Yeah. But yeah, like I said, if we can set up a time to watch it together, we'll talk. We'll figure it out. But if not, not next week, but the week after that, come back to talk about it. And of course, I'll remind you guys. And then next week, like I said, you need to come and hang out with us next week, everybody. Joe's not going to be here. But we're gonna have
how you get on without me?
Brendan, yeah, that'll get confusing. It was on his show a little bit. He was above
double
me,
B's, baby, Brendan, double B's.
but yeah, Brendan from the Sense Sphere. If you like Doctor Who, you definitely want to come. And even if you don't, man, you want to, of course, the whole episode's not gonna, the whole podcast won't be Doctor Who, but because this guy is a Doctor Who channel, and I'm gonna Doctor Who it up. Maybe we're gonna have a little trivia, this, that, or the other. Look at some top 10 lists.
You're gonna do that when I'm gone? Are you kidding me? What the hell?
Not despite you, Joe. I wish you were going to be here, but
Yeah,
it won't
yeah.
be, dude. I promise you, it's not going to be the only one we do.
We're
I'm
going to talk
getting
about all the decent Matt Smith bits, and there's nothing you
Yeah,
can
Oh,
do.
come on. Come
yeah,
on.
those secret racy photos you can see only in the Discord. All right, let's go around the horn and check in with everybody. Let's go with Joey first, youngest first.
Hey, so yeah, I noticed a comment Herman the Tosser said. He said he was born 5 days before A New Hope, and I was born 3 days before 9/11. So we have that in common, I guess. Yeah, my name is Joe Bonoli. You can find me on Twitter, Joe Bonoli YT. I am pretty young, but I'm not woke like the rest of my generation. So there's that. That's a plus. But yeah, it was great to be here. And Gobster, it was really awesome to meet you, and you seem very like,
Yeah.
level-headed. And
I try to be.
I look
Good
forward to
seeing
next
you.
time we can hang out.
Yeah. I look forward to doing it again, mate. I
Tell
really
them where
will.
they can find you, Joe.
Yeah, so you can find me on Twitter, Joe Bonoli YT. I'm also on YouTube, the Joe Bonoli. I make Doctor Who videos, and I'm currently, this is my excuse every time, but I'm always editing. I'm always editing. That's all I do all day, and so it's sometimes I don't get to fully invest in my channel as much as I want to because I'm working on other projects. But I will be getting back into it as soon as possible. And yeah, join me over there.
All right, let's go to the asshole on the internet, Diabolical Tuna.
Look, it's been a great stream, guys. You know, Gobster, it's been
Oh, yeah,
fantastic.
it was a good stream. bro.
Not to get too gay about it, but when I first started doing this kind of stuff, Gobster was one of the people that I was kind of talking to via DM and stuff. So, you know, being here kind of on camera and all that kind of stuff really is good. And, you know, it's his fault, is basically what I'm kind of
Yeah,
saying.
it's all my fault. That's he's blaming me. To be honest, he's blaming me.
So yeah, I really, you know, it's been absolutely great hanging out with you. We need to do something kind of local time if you're up for that. You know,
Yeah.
definitely.
Awesome. We'll sort that out, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, brilliant stream. Other than that, you know, follow me on X, diabolical_tuna. Please, for the love of God, subscribe to him on YouTube /diabolicaltuna. Yeah, I've got a couple of ideas kind of planned regarding Mary Poppins of all things. And
do you
yeah,
feel
kind of
now
trigger
that
warnings versus the BBFC, not BBC. Thank you.
Yes.
And a couple of other bits planned next week as well. So
Rachel will like
Retro
that. Shout
Valley,
out.
hopefully, Joe will be doing that Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, boy. And then everything else, just however the fuck it happens.
All right, and Mr. Gobster, before I get us out of here and tell everybody the goodbyes, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you, sir?
You can find me on Twitter. It's literally Gobster, but it's GOBST3R because somebody has already got Gobster, whoever that is. I shall find
Bastard.
you. I shall hunt you down and kill you like the dog that you are. For taking that one. And then on YouTube, it's Gobster Talks About Things. That's the YouTube channel where I'm currently inflaming a lot of people's passions in certain religions. Can we say?
Keep making them squeal, baby.
Making them squeal. Oh, you want me to hold on? Sorry, I've got to interrupt the little one once the milk opened. I'm living the dream. I'm living the dream, guys. I'm living the dream.
Milk promotes white supremacy, right?
Hey, listen. Yeah, last week I found out drinking coffee makes me a white supremacist. Really?
Everything I do, yeah.
I only had to.
So, yeah, that's awesome, guys. You need to go over and subscribe to all three of these gents. Please subscribe to my channel, like, share, subscribe. I appreciate everybody in the chat very much. Appreciate
Before
you
we
guys
go,
interacting
Brandon.
with us. What now?
Before we go, I do have a mystery that I'd like to try and get solved. Who's responsible for this?
You son of a bitch. That's why I put it in the overlay. I meant to show that. Yeah.
Why am I Davros? That's what I want to know. Why am I Davros, man?
Well, we were trying to show people that evil people are in wheelchairs. You know.
We have a Star Wars related one for episode 9 next week.
Yep, it's gonna be good. Well, I've already, that one I've seen. I'm beautiful. I'm Leia. I'm Princess Leia, and I'm freaking hot as hell,
beautiful.
man.
Yeah.
But so I appreciate you guys very much. I appreciate you guys in the chat and everybody else who watched on X and YouTube. Like, share, subscribe, and we will see you next week at 3 p.m. for another Culture Council. Much love, everybody. We'll catch you later.
Peace.